Hello everyone, can you hear me? There it is! Oh, that took a minute for everybody to actually pop up here. Okay, excellent. Let me go ahead and kill this background music now. Do you like this backplate that I've got going on for the video? It's a little new trick I learned. So before we get started, let me just go ahead and tweet this out and share it. Make sure that we get everybody on board for this, of course. So just a moment, everybody. We're going to wait for everybody to get in here and also get a few more eyes on this. Make sure everybody's sitting down for our creepy Christmas story time. Okay, that should about do it. Let me just go ahead and go to our dashboard and see if I can change up the card that I've got in here for the thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. Change thumbnail. It's still that old piece that I used for the Jack Torrance live streams, you see. That's not appropriate for tonight. There it is. Aha, okay, so that ought to do it. Let's see. Okay, now we did have our first donations come through. I can see here in the super chats. So, for anybody watching who doesn't know what this is about, this is going to be the Christmas in Containment live stream. It is a charity live stream for Apraxia Kids. Apraxia Kids is an organization that helps children who have apraxia of speech, which is a form of speech impediment, you might say. It is a developmental sort of deal for children who have difficulty with learning how to speak and forming words. They need a little bit stronger forms of speech therapy than other children might. So this is an organization that helps kids and families get in touch with speech therapists and helps them overall with the challenge of overcoming apraxia of speech and helping children gain their voice and all the confidence that comes with that. So what better charity to have for something like this, right? So there's two ways that you can donate. I've got the link to the actual site for Apraxia Kids in the video description. Or you can go ahead and send me a super chat which I will read out as long as it's appropriate enough. And so you'll be donating to use my voice to read your words. We're making me into a jukebox for the night in between stories that we'll be reading out that are appropriate for the occasion. And the donations will all be handed off in one big ol' lump sum next month after YouTube's processing. Here's a little bit of behind the scenes for you if you didn't know. Every month on YouTube, all of the ad revenue and super chats and what have yous, all the sources of revenue that come through YouTube are calculated at the end of the month into the next month. So right now it's December. Everything that happens for me on the channel this month will be calculated in January. And then Google will actually ship it all out to me through the means that I've set up around the 21st to 23rd. So it's every month your payment comes over next month, late in the month. So once that processing is all set up, towards the end of January, I'll be able to report out everything that we got for the stream, for the donations, for the super chats, give out that number, and then go ahead and push it through and, share that out on social media. So it's going to take just that little bit of waiting time through January, but I'll have a full record of everything that we raised tonight. So let's see here. Tom Ferreira. Out of the three, which one do you think is more powerful? Slender Man, the Rake, or Habit? Oh, that's a tough one. Rake is low tier. Rake is super low tier. You can kill the Rake, I think. Oh, man. Slender Man or Habit? Considering that Habit hasn't managed to kill Slender Man yet, I begrudgingly say Slender Man. So I think the pecking order goes Slender Man, Habit, Rake. Although it's like neck and neck for Slender Man and Habit. Snip Snap, thank you for the donation for Apraxia Kids. Let's help some kiddos. Storyline Shadow says, hey Nick, been sub since 5K in the Marble Horns Explained series. Thanks for all of the hard work you put in to bring exposure to creators. Thank you. The official Rossatron said, have you seen the SCP animated series Containment by Lord Bung? It's pretty good at mixing horror and comedy, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I have indeed. I have not yet seen the latest episode because I was working on the video that I released yesterday, the SCP Starter Guide. But I do owe myself a moment to watch The Infinite IKEA. Oh boy, I really hope I don't butcher your name here, friend. Cajero or Cajero? A. Brine says, why am I not surprised that Dr. Bright was involved in getting you to not be chained to a wall or something? Because Dr. Bright is the best. That's why. And thank you for the donation. Snip Snap again. More help for the kiddos. Nightmare File says, keep up the great work, little guy. Who are you calling little, Nightmare? John Smith, thank you. Hey Nick, I've been around since this house has people in it, and I love you, man, and your videos. Shout out to my friend Hudson and the Overlook Hotel Discord server for Jack Torrance investigation. Yep, shout out to those guys over there. It is very cool that they've got their own Discord there to keep an eye on Jack Torrance, because I am certainly taking a little bit of a break from that myself. Natamok says, may not be much, but it's for a good cause. Absolutely it is. Thank you for that. Adam, thanks for being there for me the past couple of weeks, dude. I'm at the bar right now reading. Thank you, Tat Dad. You enjoy your journey. As for what that means, all the rest of you, keep wondering. Giant Killer, thank you. Hey, Nick, just wanted to say hi and thank you for all the work you put in. Hope you and everyone have a happy holidays. Let's help these kids. Let's definitely help these kids. I'm so thrilled to be doing this. It's my first time actually managing to do anything charity related for the channel, and I feel it's so long overdue. So I'm very happy to finally be able to do this. Naga Blackwing, thank you, says for the little guys. Kara submitting $10 says, a night of charity and containment, one of the best gifts to receive for Christmas. Hope this little bit helps, and Merry Christmas everyone. Merry Christmas indeed. Mr. Glib, 'tis the season for merriment, not degeneracy. Let's not get our very own Saint Nick yeeted off YouTube in our revelry. There are kids to think of. Definitely. Alright. Procopius Jones, Hey paisanos, it's the Super Nocturne Brothers Super Chat Show Christmas Spooktacular with special guest Dr. Redacted from the SCP Foundation. Already I'm being used for the jukebox effect and it's working. $10 from Jenna Harrower, Phantasmagorical Fantastic Fest. A donation from the Communist Party, which is unexpected, but I guess welcome. Noir, thank you for your donation. Axel2Red says, hi Nick, can't watch the stream, but I want to support the charity. I love your content and been here since Marble Hornets Explained. You're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. Blythe says, how was your time with the SCP? Not over yet. And that's all I can say. But thank God for privileges and plea bargains. Dude says, love the channel and submitted 15. Thank you. Nightmare Files said, medium guy. Lol. Slasher Sister said, how did you get out of SCP containment, Nick? I think we were all worried for you. It pays to have a voice and be willing to work out arrangements. That's all I can say right now. Dr. Bright is better than anybody else here. Vine Ducks. Ooh woo. Thank you, Vine Ducks. Procopius Jones said, thanks for the SCP-3301 mention at the end of the latest video. It's one of the tabletop games I've ever played. Dominion is better, though. No problem. Thank you for telling me about it. I was glad to share that out. Spec Ops Bear said, read SCP-1168 on stream or you're dead to me. As for the kids, let's help these guys out. I can relate as I had to attend speech classes in late elementary school. SCP-1168, huh? Okay, let me go ahead and open that up in a tab. Serene Oxaru says, hello, this is an odd request, but can you yell, what, as angrily as you can? It's for an inside joke with a friend. Okay, so in that case, bookmark this time in the stream so that you can catch it when it's all done recording. What?! Hope I didn't burst into eardrums now. Smokey said, Nick, which was harder, coming out as LGBT or coming out as a furry? Also, could you say hi to my friend Claudia? Hello, Claudia. Huh. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say the furry thing. I'm gonna say the furry thing because you know, everybody is pretty awesome nowadays with everything, but people still look at the whole furry scene and cringe. And you know what? Even furries look at themselves and cringe. It's part of the inside joke, is that it's the culture. You ever hear the term furry trash? That was essentially started by furries about themselves. So when I announced that I was going to be hosting for Apocalypse, that was kind of a big watch yourself moment. But, you know, no regrets. Still had one of the best times I've ever had on the channel. Yeah, that random viewer said the amount of people who have already donated is pretty epic, gamers. You know what? Let me put on the chiptunes again while I'm talking just for a bit. It's nice background noise. There we go. Or actually, I should probably get some of the guaranteed royalty-free stock then. I've got lying around somewhere, so we'll grab that in a moment. Let me just go ahead and finish up with these first round donations, and then we'll dive into story reading. Vlyn says, I had no reason to download Amino apps again, but goddammit, Nick, you got me. Thank you for your feedback. Mr. Clip said, okay, I know I said no degeneracy, but the chat deserves this. Time to say the dreaded phrase, Nick, with feeling, if you please. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. What's this? Oh, wow. What's this? Brian Word said, can't wait to see how the rest of your fun adventures in the SCP turns out. Me too. Let's hope I do get out. Empress of Al said, thanks for the stream as I'm stuck in the back of a van driving cross-country. Happy holidays, y'all. Wow. That's quite a situation. I'm glad to be joining you as you're, you know, going across the country there. Have a safe trip. 0% submitted $10. Thank you. Jack, Baptism on Fire, our friend. Not a furry, but SCP-1471 is pretty hot, not gonna lie. Also, hope you have a wonderful Christmas thing if I don't message you in the next day. And a happy Christmas to you as well. Isn't it funny, Jack, how your country says happy Christmas, but we say merry? It should totally be the opposite. We say happy for everything else, but we say merry and you guys say happy. I've never understood that. Probably because we stole merry. So you just stole happy instead. Kazmina, thank you for all the wonderful content you've created over this year. Hope you and everyone in chat have a wonderful holiday season and sending much love and positivity for the new year. Thank you very much. Aaron Brady, thank you. Galaxy Goddess, thank you with $10. You are absolutely amazing. I've been inspired by you more than any of the other creators on the site. Stay fabulous. You too, Goddess, thank you. Paula says, hope this help is any way possible. Help this helps in any way possible, and your voice is so smooth that you seem to be an amazing guy. Love, Paula. Thank you, Paula. Gilby the newbie, this is all I have. I wish I have more to give. It's okay, Gilby. Thank you so much for submitting. Communist Party said, we party with everyone. Okay, see, now I understand. Welcome. My name Jeff. Said Ski Mask Man Inc. Sage said, adore your channel. Was thrilled when I saw you cover Crypt TV, especially Luxie. Hope to see more Crypt Universe from you. Keep up awesome work. Maybe so. We'll see what the future has in stock for us. Maverick St. John said, hugs and bird. Sorry I can't stay, but I always try to give back to you with how much content of yours I've watched and been inspired by. Hopefully I finish my novel. Best of luck to you in finishing that. May my spirit be with you and aid you in the process. Odd Stories for Odd Children, Oz Fox says, hello, my nocturnal friend. I have something special in store for you soon. Now that sounds tantalizing. Thank you. Deadly Logic, Michael. Stuck at work, but dropping a quick donation to aid the cause. Keep up the good work, Pops. Thanks, Michael. Blythe said, I'm donating again to tell you how hearing you say "oh" took 10 years off my life. I'm sorry. Oh, boy. Lurker with $50. Wow, thank you. It's awesome that I get to watch/listen to spooky stories and support kids who struggle with speaking like I did. So here's for Apraxia kids. By the way, I wish there were more stories about the Hounds of Tidalos. Yeah, you know what? There probably should be. There are, I think, a few good tales that you can find connected to that from back in the day when, that writing was first done. Jan Harrer submitting $10, and Michi Kurashima with $19.99 saying, your voice is so relaxing, it's the perfect medicine while I'm sick. Thank you for all of the hard work and amazing videos. Thank you. Aaron Brady with $5 saying, any advice for a person going through a shape-shifting and coming out to my family? Well, let's see. If you're going through a shape-shifting and going through the process of selecting family to let in on the fact first, anything that you have to tell them about your life and what you are or may be has everything to do with you and your ownership of that. It is a privilege for them to be told. And it's a privilege to be in on the process. So what I'll tell you is, start with the one who is most rewarding of knowing first. The one who is the one that showed you the most love, the most support, and will continue to do so. And let them in bit by bit according to that. And only when you feel it's time. You own any sort of coming out that you have. And with that, we'll go ahead and stop at this point before this becomes the Super Chats donation show. We'll get back to this after a little bit of story reading, but first, let's find out what SCP-1168 was. Okay, and let's go ahead and get some music on here for the background first. Just a moment, everybody, while we go ahead and set this up. Now that I know I can actually do this, I do want a little bit of music for the background. Okay, that should be good. Let's just check to make sure that everybody can actually hear this at a pretty decent volume mixed in with my voice, because we are going to be reading. So, how do we feel, guys? Does it sound alright? Sounds good? Okay, this volume's decent. Good, good. Alright, in that case then, let's take a look before we dive into all the... Actually, you know what? No, because I really want to open with one specific thing. So let's start with one little bit of a Christmas holiday thing first, and then I'll read 1168 for Bear. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now, seeing as this is Christmas in Containment, I've got a mix of SCP tales for you about the holidays, as well as some NoSleep stories. So we're gonna have fun going through these. But first up, I have Are We Christmas Yet? An Are We Cool Yet organization tale. For those of you who watched the starter guide video that I had out yesterday, you would know about the SCP Foundation's many groups of interest, one of which is called Are We Cool Yet? Are We Cool Yet being an artist organization that deals with anomalous artifacts and beings. And sometimes this is for terrible, terrible purposes, specifically art installations that go horrifically wrong. This is reportedly an event that they had at Christmas, with two of the artists from Are We Cool Yet taking part in this tale, mostly a dialogue exchange back and forth. I still think this is a terrible idea. No, it's awesome! Like deconstructive or whatever. Overgang and Joey stared at the enormous red bauble that towered over nearby buildings, pensively sipping eggnog. It had several hundred minuscule trees hanging off the side of it. Overgang posed the question. So, it's an hour and 10 to midnight. What happens when it's Christmas? Presents happen. Presents happen? Presents happen. Everywhere. Elaborate. It literally causes Christmas miracles. Okay, elaborate more. Sick children will walk. Tiny Tim will get his presents. Scrooge will see the light. The town will be filled with cheer and goodwill. Children will run downstairs only to see Santa Claus pop up the chimney. Rich people will let beggars into their houses. Every church bell will ring 12 times. A cranky old man will smile for the first time in 20 years. Kids will ice skate while laughing happily and be joined by their otherwise dismissive parents. Snow shall follow down, leaving beautiful white fields by morning. John McClane and Hans Gruber shall fight a war of wills. Little Macaulay Culkin will fight off a pair of thieves. The Grinch's heart will grow 3 sizes, and Charlie Brown's sad little tree will get the love it deserves. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. The perfect Christmas. Well, that sounds lovely, if a bit boring. And of course, since Christmas is about the little baby Jesus and the Mother Mary, every virginal female in this city will spontaneously give birth, whereupon the newborn is promptly crushed by a pile of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That's more like it. And now you know why the SCP organization does not like Are We Cool Yet? Oh, actually, let's change it up a bit. This is a piano track. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for 1168, our request from earlier. SCP-1168. Object Class. Safe. Containment Procedures. SCP-1168 is stored within a hermetically sealed containment unit in Sector 19. Personnel assigned to Sector 19 must not fit Profile Alpha 1168 or Profile Beta 1168. SCP-1168 is a copper sculpture identical to the work Statue of Theseus, by Giorgio Fatalis with the following deviations. Dating indicates it was created at least a redacted amount of years after the genuine sculpture. In the sculpture's left hand are 30 silver coins dating from circa year 30, stamped with the 1977 design of Chuck E. Cheese game tokens. Inscribed on the outer side of Theseus' shield is the phrase, something I can't read, but the English translation is, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's." Inscribed on the inner side of Theseus' shield is the phrase, Sig Domido Sevum Prosta Viri Corpore Theseus, from Catalyst 64, meaning, thus Theseus laid low the savage one with the body having been conquered. The inscription appears to have been engraved sometime after acquisition. It is currently unknown how this engraving occurred. 1168 displays no anomalous properties while inactive. The object activates whenever 170 or more meters of yarn is placed into the sculpture's right hand. SCP-1168 closes its right hand around the yarn. The yarn is annihilated by anomalous means and the object enters into a pending state. While in a pending state, it will appear inactive until a human subject fitting profile Alpha 1168 or Beta 1168 enters the radius of effect. The radius of the area equals the length of yarn that activates the statue. Okay. When a human subject fitting profile Alpha 1168 enters the area of effect, SCP-1168 will unclench its right hand and move its right arm to point its tertiary finger in the direction of subject for at least 5 seconds, after which it will return to its pending state. When a human subject fitting profile Beta 1168 enters the area of effect, it will move its left arm to point 2 fingers in the direction of subject for at least 10 seconds, after which it will return to inactive state. When SCP-1168-1 and 1168-2 simultaneously exist, the statue will deactivate, and -1 will instantly materialize a wooden club and be encased in a cube of ice. 1168-2 will seek instances of 1168-1, the cube of ice, and initiate ritualized interactions. After this, they cease designation. The ice surrounding 1168-1 is impervious to any interference and melts at a rate of 176 milliliters per day. After 1168-1 is free of the ice, subject ceases designation. Okay, so now we have some addendum documents. And I gotta tell you, I have no idea what this is leading us into, but I'm sure I'm going to love it. Profile Alpha 1168, aka the one who gets put into the ice block with the club. These subjects have public records of any of a list of sex crimes. They are blonde Caucasian men, aged 15 to 18. All subjects are in their junior year of high school. For the beta, so the one who seeks the block of ice is that one, the blonde white kid, age 15 to 18 in junior year of high school. Okay, Addendum 3. A log of interaction between 1168-1 and 1168-2. So we've got the guy with sex crimes and the block of ice, and the kid who seeks them out. Log of interaction appears similar to a scene from the video The Misadventures of Skooks, Part 3 of 6 from YouTube user Orpheus for the Win. 1168-2 faces 1168-1 from its left side. Boy, am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here and that... At this point, SCP-1168-1 materializes a brown Stetson on its head and a golden badge in the shape of a 6-pointed star on its breast. He's the sheriff, and 1168-2 develops a thin layer of frost around its skin. That we're frozen out here, and that 1168 teleports into 1168-1's block of ice. This does not hinder 1168-2's speech, which originates from his position at the start of the interaction. We're in there, and I just remembered, 1168-2 teleports into its initial position. That we're out here. But what I want to know is, where's the sex offender? What? Okay, this has got to clear things up now. We've got a post-recovery interview here. So what happened here is the person in the block of ice, they them and the kid, they go back. The person's in the block of ice, right? And as the kid, the blonde kid, the high school boy, starts saying, boy, am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here, the dude in the block of ice gets a cowboy hat and a sheriff badge. And then these two trade places somehow, and then trade back. So we've got this post-recovery interview with a male, 23 years old. Okay, so the information says SCP-1168 was on public display in the Syntagma Square in Athens, Greece. It is currently unknown when SCP-1168 replaced the original sculpture. According to eyewitness account, the interview subject approached 1168, after which the object entered an active state, selected 1168-1 and 1168-2 from nearby individuals. Interview subject was taken into custody by police along with 11 other witnesses. So we've got an SCP agent sitting down with this person. They say, I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Okay. Your name is Jude Kriot, correct? Yeah. You're a student from Redacted. Was. Not really doing much these days. Why did you do something to the statue? The statue? I thought this was about the dude freezing. Please answer the question, Mr. Kriot. Sorry, I got a letter from an old teacher. He had stuff. You know, he told me to do it or that stuff would, the stuff would be aired. We sent some letters back and forth. I was asking how he'd know. He dodged it by saying he had friends in the area. Do you still have those letters? The agent asks. I've only got a few left. I took to burning them after a bit, but I can get them if that won't be necessary. Thank you, says the agent. A raid on Mr. Kriot's home after interview discovered letters confirming correspondence with said teacher. Ashes were found in the trash can. Could you describe this man to me? Okay. Old white dude, probably in his 70s. Gray hair, pretty long, usually wears a ponytail. Description and letters correspond to a person of interest, a former teacher at the redacted site. Do you know why he wanted you to place the yarn on the statue? Well, he knew me, and he knew he had me by the balls. Allow me to rephrase. Do you know his reasoning for wanting the yarn placed on the statue? Kriot said, yeah. He mentioned that it was a metaphor or something. He was a sucker for bullshit. Sorry, pompous gestures. It's all right. Could you explain what you mean by appeal? Well, Theseus killed the Minotaur. Dude's old. Told me his health wasn't the best, thought maybe this would make the old gods happy or something. He also knew my health wasn't the best, mentioned something about it doing the same for me. Were you expecting the statue to move? Asked the agent. What? Did you think the statue would move? Oh. We have witnesses saying the statue pointed at Mr. Redacted and Mr. Redacted. Interviewee remained silent for 1 minute. Are you all right, Mr. Kriot? No, I'm not all right. Would you like to take a moment? No, I can continue. Why the silence? I'm sorry. It reminded me of some shit. Some shit? Look, man, I burned the letters for a reason. The teacher had an art group at the college. He asked me to show up once. An art group? Yeah. When I got there, it was a warehouse, I guess, a private art show. There was a statue, sculpture, whatever, a fucking dolly thing. It moved when you put a coin in it. And this seems to be SCP number 1800, according to a link here. And she was there. There because I was there, because I told her it was cool. Interviewee remained silent for 1 minute. I'm sorry. I knew her. I don't want to. I knew her and she trusted me, and I was young and I was stupid, so fucking stupid, and I wasn't told what was happening until I looked, and I should have fucking known, and she's gone. She's fucking gone because of me. Because I couldn't fucking stand it, because I fucking left my skin. Just sunk away into myself like a snake shedding its filthy, stupid fucking rotten husk of itself. I checked out because I was a coward. She's gone. And someone I knew had made it, and it was praised. They clapped like it was just some fucking piece of performance art, and I just sat there, useless me, watching on as it happened. After the show, they told me I was young, and I didn't understand art or the point they were trying to make. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't see the statue move. I'm sorry. Fuck. The interviewee remained silent for 2 minutes. I'm sorry, Mr. Kriot, said the agent. The interviewee declined to respond. Again, the agent said, I'm sorry. Thank you for your time. Closing statement. Due to possible connections between Jude Kriot and the group of interest, Are We Cool Yet? Mr. Kriot was subject to further interrogation, which failed to garner any useful intelligence. Mr. Kriot was administered a prophylactic Class B amnestic to suppress any knowledge of SCP-1168, 1800, and Are We Cool Yet? It was unknown whether Mr. Kriot had knowledge of any further groups of interest at the time. Jude Kriot is now identified as Person of Interest 6870. Current evidence suggests Mr. Kriot was the creator of the object. So there are pieces I'm missing here. It's a YouTube poop? What? Okay. Okay, we have an explanation here, right? Thank you for literally reading a YouTube poop in the form of an SCP. Damn it, Bear! Damn it, Bear! Oh, no. Please look at the YouTube poop. There's a link. Oh no. Hold on. We left off at War C9. Let me look for this. Oh no. Oh no. It's a goddamn YouTube poop. Somebody's asking what a YouTube poop is. A YouTube poop is, look up Where's the Caveman and you'll see it. Oh no. Okay, give me a second. Oh no. A white blonde male. High school age. Fred from the Scooby-Doo gang. Okay. And then there's the caveman.
Wow, it's a 2-million-year-old ice cube.
I wonder where this fat thought floated in from.
I know. I read about it in the 2-million-year-old paper.
Bitch, give me a hand job, Scoops.
Am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here and that he's the sheriff and that we're frozen out here and that we're in there and I just remembered we're out here. What I want to know is where's the caveman?
Oh my god. That's how you wanted me to start my stream? With that? Oh no. Oh my god. Yeah, bamboozled is right. Okay. Let's collect ourselves by reading some of these donations for Apraxia kids that came through in the meantime. And then we'll get to the real content. Hold on. Let me kick on some music again. So, Wark9 with $20 donation says, "Hello, Nick. Been a fan since this house has people in it. Have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you too." Ren Cameron said, "If it weren't for you, I would never have had the confidence to write several short stories and even have a few narrated on YouTube. Thanks for your never-ending support. I'm extremely thankful for our friendship." That makes me very happy, Wit. Thank you. The chat raper said, "Nick, say ooh-woo if SCP are holding you at gunpoint." Can you call them guns? Anyway, Riversong Pond said, "Hello, Nick. I'm back once again." Wow, with $40 for the donation for Apraxia Kids. Thank you. The Jack Torrance Discord want to wish you a very merry holiday. Most of us love you very much. Your encouraging message last time really filled me with hope. Love you very much. Thank you, Riversong, and thank you all of you. Jizuru said, "I was in speech therapy for a day because my small town was racist and they thought my Spanish accent was a lisp. Anyway, here's to kids who need speech therapy." Appreciate it. Sorry that happened to you, but appreciate it. Thank you. "Have a happy and Merry Christmas," said Britaki. Thank you, Britaki. Fanatic with $49.99. Quite a donation, thank you. "Hey Nick, you're legitimately one of my favorite YouTubers and I wish I could do more to help your channel. Oh, and would you mind wishing my brother a Merry Christmas? He's just as big of a fan as I am. Merry Christmas to you and your brother." Snipsnap said, "Did you ever make that web series you promised us?" See, this is one of those can neither confirm nor deny situations, isn't it? The only thing I could ever tell you about one of my projects is when the time comes to tell you that, yes, it was me, that time will come. But until then, you're just gonna have to take a look at what I'm doing and see if you can spot clues between here and there. For those of you who are legitimately interested or wondering, anything I make to fulfill those promises is never going to start or incorporate Nightmind directly. That doesn't mean, however, that there won't be giveaways or hints on Nightmind to lead you in the right direction. It will never explicitly give it away, but it will never be personally here on the channel. Consider it to be a case of you're trying to find out the secrets about a movie, and you're checking out the director and actor's Twitter accounts to see about hints that are being dropped in cryptic pictures and tweets. So, are the accounts part of the experience itself? No. But it could help you out a little bit. Anyway. Just remember everything I taught you. Sage Wicker said, "Nick, thanks for all you do. It is one of the greatest missions to give children a voice, as well as the confidence to use it. Absolutely. Their voices will help keep horror relegated to the realm of fiction. Happy holidays." Agree doubly. Karis8894 says, "Making a request for a favorite of mine, SCP-2547, The Dog Days of Summer. Also, your narration is super nice to listen to while having a nice adult eggnog." Excellent. You enjoy that. I'll go ahead and put 2547 in a new tab here, and we'll see if we can go ahead and get to that later, after a few more Christmas/holiday rounds. Some guy said, "Howdy Nick, been watching since the old EMH and Marble Hornets vids. Enjoy everything you make. Keep it up, you're a cool dude." Thank you. Isabella Scott asks, "Why is your voice smoother than air-whipped butter?" Well, I'm sure that a certain group of scientists and researchers are desperately trying to figure that out right now. Anyhow, Submech Agent B said, "Happy holidays, Nick. Sorry for this. That's a damn good margarita." Love you, Cat Daddy. Thank you, Submech Agent. Thank you for the donation for Apraxia Kids. Ashing, thank you for your donation. Aaron Brady said, "Thanks, Cat Daddy. Can you please yell, 'Yo, Logan, stop playing Fortnite'?" I would appreciate that. Well, there you go. Logan, put down your Commander Cuddles or whatever the hell they're called and Play a man's game. What about Call of Duty? Call of Duty's old and dead, Grandma. They don't even have a campaign anymore. Daniel Bate. Sorry. Daniel Bain, remember... Okay, seriously though, remember when Call of Duty actually used to have a story? Otherwise known as, remember when Call of Duty had, like, integrity? Yeah. So much for that. Anyhow, Daniel Bain said, "Yay, Christmas horror stories, woo! But in all seriousness, Merry Christmas, St. Nick and friends." Thank you, Daniel. Winged Immortal submitted $25 for the donation. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Nick, Cat Daddy Nocturne. Please say, "Yif yif, motherfucker." Yif yif, motherfucker. Oh, do you want me to say it like Agent Dokes from Dexter? Let's see. Let's tune up. Surprise, motherfucker. Yif yif, motherfucker. There you go. Somebody make that a ringtone or a notification sound. Sean Hyde. "I love your content, Nick. You make a comfortable, tranquil environment full of spooks, and joining you is one of my favorite parts of the day." Thank you, Sean. Tom Ferreira said, "You should check out Bored James. It's a horror comedy." That's right. That's one of those old ones that people have recommended to me before. I really never did check that out. Maybe that is worth visiting. Thank you, Tom. I need to write that down. In fact, you know what? Hold on. Let me do that right now so I don't lose it. Yeah, because that's James Rolfe. That's Angry Video Game Nerd. That's him branching out into uncharted territory back in the day. So that might be fun to go ahead and take a peek at. Back when he branched out into our neck of the woods. Moonlight Angel said, "Merry Christmas, Nick. We may not know each other, but I consider you a valuable friend. If it's not too much trouble, could you give a shout out to my future hubby Lafayette and good friend Tom? Love you." Much love to you too. And much love to Lafayette and Tom. Hello to both of you. Cookie Cat 94 says, "Happy Christmas Eve from Aussieland." Happy Christmas Eve. And Emo Glacian said, "Congrats on your first charity livestream, Nick. Damn good cause. Could you read out the Scott Steiner math promo for me? Best hyped up pro wrestler voice. I know you've got it in you. Happy holidays. You are a delight." The Scott Steiner math promo in a hyped up pro wrestler voice. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if I can do this. Okay, I think I found it. Does it go along the line of the numbers don't lie and they spell disaster for you? Let's see what the chat says. Is that it? Okay, this is it? Okay. Best hyped up pro wrestler voice. Okay, give me a second. I need a drink before I do this. You know what? Let's see if we can find some appropriate music for the background. Make it extra fun. Yeah, hard rock. Yeah, you know what? This actually sounds pretty damn good. How's the volume? Volume good? Okay, Scott Steiner math promo. You know, they say that all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe and you can see that statement is not true.
See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best to beat me. Then you add Kurt Angle to the mix. Your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning. Because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you get an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we was to go one-on-one and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. You see, Samoa Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice. And that's how I break it down for all you ladies. Oh, that was so fun. Thank you so much for asking me to do that. Oh, that was way too fun. See, I've got a future after this if I want it. I'll ask my friend who's into the WWE how to get on as an announcer and try and keep him alive. That was a lot of math for a pro wrestler. Okay, so back to Christmas. 20 Angry Ducks said, "Hey Nick, I've been a fan and walking advertisement for a while. I got a good friend of mine really into your channel and I was wondering if you'd tell her, Merry Christmas, Jaslyn. Thank you." Absolutely. Merry Christmas, Jaslyn. And thank you, 20 Angry Ducks. Ben Kia09 said, "I'm traveling tomorrow, so I thought I'd be asleep when the stream happened, not to sleep to your sweet, smooth voice. Enjoy yourself tonight from the UK." Thank you, Ben. Or Ben Kia. You have a safe journey, alright? Ski Mask Man Inc. said, any dating advice? And / you got a girlfriend / boyfriend? I do have a boyfriend. He is hanging out in the opposite room. Whether or not he's listening to this live stream is something that will probably be determined by him smugly sticking his head through the door with a smile on his face, but any dating advice? Never settle for what's just physically attractive to you. It's got to be emotionally and mentally attractive, because that's when you're going to make sure that you have a good time. Oh. Hello, dear. Goodbye, dear. Love you. No Man Bao said, "Would you kindly tell chat to search Art1992 on YouTube, please? Also, if we're still doing this, read SCP-3169 for us." Art1992, huh? Well, I don't know what that is, so I'm not sure if I can go ahead and advertise that, but for the brave, you've heard. So Tom Ferreira said, "How do you think the Slenderverse will end?" That's a good question. Is it possible for the Slenderverse to ever truly end? I mean, as long as people keep creating content, it's never really over. Oh yeah, no, Heavenly Humanism said, "Not real boyfriend, you're right, a Foundation robot." That was no, they patched him in on a screen. You're right, absolutely. Nightzuck said, "Hey Nick, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Yvonne, aka Nightzuck on Twitter. I made an edit and you noticed it, which I'm grateful for. I love you so much. Happy holidays." Thank you. I do remember. And thank you for showing up here and donating for the cause. Emma Clark said, "Much love to everyone watching tonight. I love you." Thank you, Emma. Riffler Underhill, thank you as well for your donation. Emo Glacian said, "Oh god, Nick, you're a peach. You just made my whole week. Thank you."
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you. That was fun. B. Schneider said, I always respect a good cause and submitted $2. Thank you. And Tom Ferreira said, wouldn't it be cool if the Slenderverse ended with Noah putting a severance symbol on a knife and having it into Slender Man's throat? Well, he's got to learn what he's got to use what he's learned at some point. So we'll see how that ends up. And Aries Crimson said, hey Nick, I see you've been watching the Conspiracy Research Club. If it's alright, mind me asking what your thoughts on it are? Yeah, the creator of that, Merriweather, is actually a good friend of mine. I was on his podcast a little while back called Internet Dream Lounge. He's a very creative individual and extremely passionate individual about the web series and webcomic scene. And, I need to catch up on Conspiracy Research Club. My boyfriend loves it. He completely caught up, honestly, a little while back when I was moving him in on the long journey to our place. And he's always looking forward to more Conspiracy Research Club, but it's a very cool project that Merriweather's hooked up there. Ace19961 said, almost missed the stream because of my nap. I just donated to Apraxia Kids before the super chat. Hugs for you, Nick, and everyone that donated. Thank you, Ace. Slasher Sister said, do you know Steam-Powered Giraffe? If not, you should look them up and listen to them. I think you would like them. I've heard that name before. Heard that name. So you know what? I'll go ahead and try and remember that for later. Thank you. Okay, so now that we've reached the bottom of the list here, let's go ahead and queue up some more of our Christmas horror tales. Let's see. I know specifically the one I want to get. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, this is the one I want to get to. This is fun because this especially relates to a written tale that can come after it. Okay, there we go. That's some nice music for this piece. Okay, kids. Let's go ahead and check out SCP number 2536, a Keter object. As the nature of SCP-2536 makes physical containment impossible, containment procedures will instead focus on the manner in which personnel should conduct themselves in the event of a manifestation. To enforce this, as of December 23rd, hey, today actually, this is the anniversary of this event, undisclosed year, in the 1900s, copies of these containment procedures are to be distributed among all personnel currently in the employ of the SCP Foundation during the month of December. In the event that 2536 appears before a member of personnel, they are to refrain from accepting any offered gifts, leave the vicinity of 2536, and immediately inform their supervisor. Gifts presented to personnel by SCP-2536 are only to be accepted under strict testing conditions, and after testing are to be confiscated immediately. SCP-2536 is a Christmas tree with purple and white decorations, approximately 2 meters tall and composed primarily of plastic. A speaker is attached to the base of SCP-2536, which very loudly plays the song I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by the band Wizard on a constant loop. SCP-2536 only manifests during the month of December, and its status during the rest of the year is currently unknown. During the month of December, 2536 will appear before at least 6 members of Foundation personnel, one at a time, regardless of distance between them. No reports have been found from the public or elements outside the Foundation indicating that 2536 appears to anyone apart from Foundation personnel. Upon appearance before a member of personnel, a gift in the form of a wrapped present consistent with traditional Christmas practices will be located beneath the tree. This gift, hereafter referred to as SCP-2536-1, will contain an item which the chosen member of personnel greatly desires, whether consciously or subconsciously. In cases where the desired item would be too large to feasibly fit inside 2536-1, its interior dimensions become significantly larger than its exterior ones. If the targeted member of personnel ignores 2536 and leaves the area, 2536 will disappear after 3 to 5 minutes. SCP-2536 was first discovered when it manifested in the office of Site-26 Director Leader during a lockdown after containment breach of an unspecified SCP. At the time, 2536-1 contained the required materials to temporarily shut down the SCP that was breaching and return it to its chambers. Inspection of SCP-2536 by nearby researchers revealed the following note attached to the base. Here at Data Expunged. Wait a minute. Note that no information has actually been removed from this note. This is the original wording of the message. So the note literally read, "Here at Data Expunged, we love nothing more than to watch the good work you fellows do. Your empathy and moral integrity are an inspiration to us all, and so in the season of giving, we've decided to present you brave heroes who do so much for us with a gift of your own. Enjoy. Merry Christmas. The OSN." Addendum. Sample record of 2536-1 contents. Member of Personnel, Site Director Leader. They received the materials required to shut down and subdue the breaching SCP. Dr. Landis. Several excited Welsh Corgi puppies. DNA analysis revealed the puppies were all genetically identical. D-Class 25372. A middle-aged woman and a pre-adolescent boy, later identified as 25372's wife and son. After a brief interview and dosage of Class A amnestics, they were returned to their home without incident. Someone who was redacted had a gold wristwatch. Dr. Ryans received a copy of this file and containment procedures relating to 2536. Note that this incident took place before the 1223 incident, and Mr. Ryans was thus unaware of the nature of 2536 upon its manifestation. New containment procedures were implemented as a result of the incident. Ancient Rally. Unknown. According to recovered footage from the area, 2536 manifested while Agent Rally was infiltrating a suspected location of Marshall Carter and Dark, thus revealing his location to them. Agent Rally's current status and location are unknown. And then we've got D39122 and an unspecified SCP, all related to incident reports. Okay. Incident 2536-1. On 12/29, in one of the recent years past 2000, at Site-09, SCP-2536 appeared before D-39-122 and several other D-Class personnel outside of testing hours. Before security could intervene, 39-122 received several anomalous weapons from SCP-2536-1. Weapons that showed the capability to disintegrate security personnel upon direct hits, or cause spatial warping inside their bodies. These were distributed among nearby D-Class personnel who attempted an armed escape. Although this revolt was quickly put down by on-site security, hostilities resulted in several Euclid and Keter-level containment breaches, necessitating site-wide lockdown, causing significant personnel casualties. Incident 2536-2. In December, unspecified day, unspecified year, at Site-11, during testing of an SCP-2536 appeared before it. The unspecified SCP retrieved a small device from 2536-1 consistent in appearance with its own native technology. Upon activating the device, the SCP disappeared completely from Site-11 and is now believed to have transported itself to an as-of-yet unknown location on the planet. It is now confirmed that SCP-2536 considers objects and entities under containment by the Foundation to be Foundation personnel. So it's a giving tree, but it's a giving tree that is totally okay with, wow. It's a giving tree that will give you guns with which to break containment, so no wonder it's classified as a cuter. It's a rude giving tree, somebody said. Okay, so moving on, I want to visit... Let's see, where is it? 12 days. Okay, so now we have an actual Foundation tale. Let's go ahead and go through this while the last one is still fresh in our memories, and then we'll go back to the donations. The 12 Days of Site 87's Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. AKA Part 1. Tristan Bailey started putting up the Christmas tree. He had drawn the short straw and was tasked with putting up the tree this year, which had been bought from a new tree farm in town. Hey, Bailey! Agent Ewell walked in, stepping aside from the mistletoe cautiously. Merry Christmas! Same to you, Ewell. Tristan awkwardly stood the tree up and frowned. Despite the fact that it was 15 feet tall, it neatly fit into the commons he had set it up in, which only had a 10-foot ceiling. Remind me to get Sinclair or someone in botany to look at this. Noted, Ewell said, sipping on some eggnog. What's all happening in the multi-universe? Not much. We found a universe where... Hey, you know the Christmas truce? Yeah, that thing in World War I that made people stop fighting for an entire day because of the power of Christmas. Why? That's a real thing, by the way. We found a universe where it's a global holiday, Tristan explained. As he did so, a light flickered on the Christmas tree despite the fact that none had been put on. Every year across the world, wars stopped being fought in honor of Christmas, or at least a solstice celebration. And let me guess, the US of A uses it to gank enemies from behind. Actually, no. Here's what makes it amazing. Tristan grinned as he explained, ignorant as to what was happening on the tree behind him. The League of Nations, the UN, they never formed in this universe. They've got very strict rules about it. Nazi Germany tried violating it in 1943. Hitler was dead by New Year's. Merry friggin' Christmas, eh? Yule chuckled and sipped at his drink, nearly dropping it as he saw what had happened to the tree. Yeah, this year's the centennial of it, just like in this universe. They're throwing a big shebang. Director Wise has given a few people permission to... Yule, you're getting eggnog on the carpet. Look at the tree, Bailey. Tristan spun around and stared at the tree. It had changed from a plain pine to a marvelous spruce, hung with garlands and candles and various colors of berries and popcorn strings, and at the very top, an angel. Not one of the wimpy ones you saw on the top of normal Christmas trees either. This was a many-winged angel with inhuman form, and if it were real and not simply a wood and metal reconstruction, it would have burned out the eyes of everyone in Site 87. Get someone from botany. Now. On the second day of Christmas at Site 87. 2 magic tomes were what Dr. Sinclair pored over come December 15th. Everyone else was distracted with something about a tree in a common room, but she had work to do, damn it. So she looked over the 2 books before her, scratching her head. No, that's not right. The translation should be direct. Why mistletoe? She sighed and looked around the dark, empty lab, lit only by a single candle by her side. She preferred to work in the dark. It helped her concentrate. She rubbed her face and sighed. Montgomery, was gone for the holidays. He was visiting family back home. So she was in her lab, alone, with Christmas only 9 days away. The second day of Christmas, as her mother called it. She counted Christmas as the 12th. Either way, she was alone in her lab. She didn't much care for Christmas anyway, at least not the American version. Now, the Germanic version with the Krampus. That was an amazing celebration. She reached into her wallet and looked at a picture she had taken with her mother in Austria during a Krampusnacht celebration she had been part of when she was... 10? She was in on the act, of course, but that didn't make it any less exciting. Catherine Sinclair at this point looked back at her tomes. One of them was a book written by St. Nicholas. Because of course it was. Things in the sauce pit always seem to line up with the times. In Thanksgiving 2013, for instance, coincided with Hanukkah. The turkeys in the cafeteria had become golems animated by a disgruntled employee. Catherine looked into this book and frowned. There was a ritual here for summoning the Krampus, or at the very least, a Krampus. Were there multiples? It seemed like a simple ritual, easy to contain, and could provide valuable insight into Krampusnacht and magic that were used by the saints. What the heck? She clapped her hands, turning on the lights in the lab, and started looking for test approval forms. I lost my place. There it is. On the third day of Christmas, 87 gave to me 3 baffled botanists looking over the Christmas tree in Common Room 3, who, in turn, were being watched by various Foundation staff taking time off from guard duty or experimenting to look at the researchers. They had been taking samples of the tree for days on end, but so far, it seemed like a completely normal tree. Of note, however, was that all the mistletoe in the site, real and fake, seemed to be vanishing and started disappearing the previous night, 44 in all. One researcher in particular, Chris Hastings, was looking over one of the candles that had appeared on the tree, squeezing it in his hand, smelling it, and licking it. Beeswax. Of course it is, Hastings. What else would a candle be made out of? Dr. Partridge, head of botany at Site 87, rolled his eyes at the annoyance of an assistant. No, I mean, this just formed on the tree. And look. He broke it open, revealing a honeycombed pattern inside. Looks like it came right from the hive, but it's smooth on the outside. Maybe it's something in the tree? We'll have entomology look into it, Dr. Partridge assured him. Dr. Grant's been rather bored lately. Christmas bees would be exciting to him. Why bees? Pine trees don't flower. Chris took out a notepad filled with several possibilities, including Christmas curse, fair folk, enchanted tree, Krampus, and just plain fucking weird. I've been meaning to talk to Sinclair in occult studies about it. If Dr. Sinclair were a medical doctor, I'd be inclined to call her a quack, but she's not, so I can only call her insane. Dr. Partridge sneered at Hastings. Now, let's get this back to the lab. We can't, sir. If you were here yesterday, you would have known that. Chris nodded to a couple of grunts who attempted to lift the tree. It stayed in place like it weighed as much as a dump truck, and one of the agents yelped as he strained his shoulder. It appears to be locked in place. Huh, very well. We'll set up the commons as a containment area for the time being. Clear out, everyone! All of the watching Foundation researchers protested. Some booed like the disgruntled ghosts of Christmas. A few actually glared at Chris, despite it not being his fault. This was going to be a long week. On the 4th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me 4 and 40 sprigs of mistletoe, both real and fake, laying in the center of a circle set up by Dr. Sinclair in the testing chamber. A very nervous-looking man from the cryptozoology department was assisting her, monitoring her through the chambers. Researcher, Dr. Hendricks swallowed. I'm not equipped to do this. I honestly don't know what to do with half of this. From left to right, EMF reader, can't counter, though that's unreliable at best, emergency Scranton activation switch, thermal camera, infrared camera, regular camera, alarm button, and redundant recording devices. Jason Hendricks stared through the glass. You know, you could be monitoring this. Have a D-class do the actual test. Yes, let's have a barely sentient clone with organs that will fail in 30 days do a complex ritual that requires speaking in at least 2 languages. Sinclair rolled her eyes. Anyway, this requires someone else to read the spell, so when I start burning the sprigs, read the highlighted section on the paper. Right. Dr. Hendricks looked at the paper and frowned. Didn't think St. Nicholas would be involved in this. Oh, Nick's the patron saint of thieves. Well, repentant thieves, granted, but he was involved in some shit. She muttered a prayer and began burning the mistletoe. Any time now, Jason. Dr. Hendricks sighed and read, feeling like a fool. Oi, yon mistletoe hung on yonder tree. The old witch god awaits you. Kiss his lips for me. Dr. Sinclair expected the smell of burning plastic to meet her lips as she lit the fake mistletoe. But instead, all she smelled was crisp pine needles and Yule logs. She gave a satisfied sigh and produced a pumpkin, carved into a jack-o'-lantern. Oh, Jesus. Herbs angeschlossen ich, die Fleischen like Krampus, come and see. I must have butchered the hell out of that. She threw the pumpkin into the fire. It conflagrated instantly, and from it emerged a being with the face of a man, the horns of some bizarre deer, and white, stark hair all over. It growled at Catherine.
Wer ruft mich? Es ist mein Zeit vorbei.
The Krampus had a cold voice, like freezing to death on Christmas Eve. Catherine swallowed at the sound of his voice. Ich heiss Kay Sinclair. She was careful not to give it her full name. Ich bin euch Forscher für eine Organisation, die ein Interesse in Ihnen. Sprechen Sie English? Oh, thank mercy. I speak English, yes. The Krampus grinned. Your German is poor, Fraulein. And Nocturne. I've called upon you to ask you questions, Catherine swallowed. What do you know of St. Nicholas of Myra? That is not why you had your pet call me, Kai Sinclair. You and I both know it. She repeated her question in more detail. What do you know of St. Nicholas, defender of orthodoxy, wonder-worker, holy hierarch, bishop of Myra? He really calls himself a wonder-worker now? The Krampus snorted. Very well. I shall tell you some information of him. I am bound by your word. Dr. Sinclair? An unfamiliar voice entered the lab from behind Dr. Hendricks. Hendricks looked behind him and groaned as he saw who it was. Christopher Hastings, botany, the great conspiracy theorist. The worst part is that he was right 9 times out of 10, but nobody wanted to admit it. Yes, researcher Hastings. What are you doing here, Dr. Hendricks? What?
Oh my god!
He dropped a stack of papers he was carrying as he saw what was in the testing chamber.
You summoned a Christmas demon! You're intending to spread Christmas joy by force because we aren't celebrating hard enough! You're conspiring with the tree people!
Tree? Hastings, what are you on about now? He rubbed his face and sighed. It's an experiment. We're seeing what information we can get out of him about St. Nicholas or something. It's Sinclair's doing. What did you need? Without another word, Christopher fled the room. I'm just checking in on you guys in here. Spell failed, somebody said. No, the spell worked. It just... Cringe levels redacted. Ouch! Well, you know what? We're supposed to be having fun. That music lasted a long time. Oh! Here's one that will work finally. An Oh Christmas Tree track. Okay. On the 5th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me 5 mugs of eggnog later. Christopher Hastings woke up in a daze in the common room where E2512, the Christmas tree, was, with Dr. Partridge having just come in. Not noticing the scattered mugs lying about, he nodded at Hastings and looked up at the angel on top. Have we heard back from theology about that? Not yet, sir, Chris said, rubbing his face. I tried to talk to Dr. Sinclair last night, but... They were trying to summon a demon to take over the site. She was in the middle of an experiment, so I said I'd be back later. No, you idiot! Those are thoughts that he's having. Very well, Dr. Partridge sighed. Have we tried destruction testing yet? Sir, Agent Eel stepped into the room, looking distinctly yellow and frustrated. I'd prefer if you didn't try to burn down an anomaly in the middle of a public common room. Who said anything about fire? We need acid. I agree with Agent Ewell, sir. Dr. Partridge looked at Hastings. Christopher, you do realize the scientific value of this, correct? Scientific value? It's a Christmas tree with lights that appeared when people got into the Christmas spirit. Unless we're planning to research whether or not trees can be living mood rings, I fail to see the value. He crossed his arms. Besides, Bailey's the one who brought it in. Maybe we should ask him about it. He's out of town, Ewell said, Christopher instantly picking up on the innuendo there. Dr. Partridge did not. Right. Dr. Partridge frowned. I'll go talk to Father Plum in theology. Hastings, you try to talk to Sinclair again. All right. Chris swallowed and started to head down to the occult studies laboratory. On the way down, he avoided Dr. Hendricks and knocked on the lab door. Maybe they banished it? Dr. Sinclair opened the door and frowned. Oh, Hastings. What do you want? I want to consult you about E2512. I believe some magical activity might be taking place. I suppose I could be of some help, she shrugged. Well, come in. We've made cookies. We? No, don't tell me. Sinclair held up her hands. I haven't let him out of the testing chamber. I'm not an idiot. But he just conjured an oven out of nowhere and started making gingerbread men. So you actually did summon a Krampus. Yes, and he's provided a fair bit of information about jolly old Saint Nick. Absolutely fascinating. Did you know he could speak 5 different languages? And he might be affiliated with Dr. Wa... A crackle came on from the testing chamber's communication as the Krampus pressed the button. Fraulein, either let him in or don't. You're, as you say, waffling. Christopher frowned and entered the room, Dr. Sinclair letting him in. She looked him over. So you wanted to talk about the tree? Christopher nodded. You found my notes on the floor, I take it. Yes, they were out of order and nonsensical. Something about a Christmas curse? Look, just because weird shit happens around here on holidays doesn't mean the place is cursed. It just means it's a nexus. But the candles... Oh, yeah, the beeswax candles. What about them? Right here. Chris dug into his pocket to take out the sample bag containing the single candle he had broken in 2, only to find 2 full-size ones in there. Oh, dear. Right. Dr. Sinclair took the bag and took out a candle and broke it. Over the course of about a minute, 2 new candles formed. Hydration magic, then. Hastings raised an eyebrow. What does this have to do with water? Hydration in the sense that if you cut one, 2 more grow in its place. She made a mock salute. Hail, hydrate! She then let out a laugh, leaning against the table so she didn't fall over. As she did, she made the scars on her forearms noticeable. Christopher groaned and failed to suppress a laugh. 1. That was a horrible pun. 2. That was completely unprofessional. 3. I am ashamed I found that funny, and I get the reference. And 4. What does this mean? I don't know. Several forms of fae, mainly leprechauns, use it to trick humans. And no, it's not really called hydration, but it's a much better name than duplication, don't you think? Christopher sighed. It sucks being right, you know that? But fairies? Why? I don't know. We can ask Bailey when he comes back from out of town. Until then... She offered a plate of cookies. Ginger snap? I'm just checking to see how many people put Hail Hydrate in the chat. The answer is too many of you. Hold on a second. Get your water, babes. Yeah, that's right. Hydrate. Time to take a hydrate break. On the 6th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. 6 hours was all the sleep that Tristan Bailey got that night, and with good reason. For one, he wasn't in his quarters at Site 87. Instead, he was in a middling quality inn in Sauce Pit, known as the Elk's Horn. For another, someone was next to him in bed. The head of the Department of Multi-Universal Affairs, Dr. Claire Hennessy. The somewhat pudgy, red-headed woman smiled at him as he woke up, dazzling green eyes meeting his plain brown. Hello there, gorgeous. She gave him a kiss on the cheek. How are ya? Don't call me that, Claire. Tristan smiled at his girlfriend as he sat up in bed. And I couldn't be better. Claire sat up with him. So, she said, apparently that tree you brought in is causing a real stir back at the site. Which is exactly why I wanted to get away from there, among other reasons. Oh, so I'm other reasons now, am I? Claire stuck out her tongue and got out of bed, going over to get her bathrobe on. Seriously, though, botany's got their head up their ass about it. Partridge is convinced there's scientific value in it. Which is why I'm avoiding the site. Partridge is going to grill me about it endlessly. Partridge would grill someone about a pea pod if he was convinced it had scientific value, Claire agreed, putting on her robe. Anyway, shall we head up to the site? We need to sign the paperwork for the Truce Universe. Yeah, I guess. Tristan got out of bed and began looking for his clothing. Why do my trousers have blood on them? That's ketchup. Okay. A few hours later, the two of them drove back up to the site in separate cars, half an hour apart from one another. Tristan paid for the room with a civilian credit card as opposed to the Foundation one he was issued. He had lost it anyhow. When he got to the site, he used an entrance different from the one Claire had used and met her down in Multi-Universal Affairs. Dr. Bailey, she said. You're late. Overslept, madam, Tristan said, adjusting his tie. What's going on? Well, for one thing, Claire smirked at him. You have visitors. Boo, said a voice from behind. Tristan turned around and there were two copies of him standing by, one well-tanned and wearing a broad-brimmed straw hat, the other having a rather well-groomed goatee. Tristan grinned and laughed. Tom, Trev, what the heck are you doing here? He held out his arms and the three brothers hugged. I gave myself time off for family, Tom said. And Dr. Bright gave Trevor some vacation time over Christmas to visit here. Wait, Tristan said to Trevor. Bright the Bastard Eyes actually gave someone time off? You'd be surprised what being related to our dad can do, Trevor said. Anyway, less than a week to Christmas. We got stuff to prepare for. Yeah, Tom said. Like, we heard you found out something regarding the Christmas truce. Oh, we've got a lot to discuss, Tristan said, grinning and heading off with his brothers in tow. I've got so much new data to show you. On the 7th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. 7 days after the tree had manifested its anomaly, Dr. Partridge was grasping at straws. He was trying to think of reasons to keep it contained. It's a good alternative to cheap Christmas decorations. No. Oh, I know. No. He paced back and forth in the greenhouse while Chris took notes on how E2512 was developing. Sir, with all due respect, Chris said, chewing on his pen, it's not even a safe class anomaly. At best, it's an anomalous item with connections to the fairy folk. Don't call them that, Hastings. They're unclassed anomalous entity Jacob 892. Well, UAE Jacob 892 has a tangential connection with it at best, according to Sinclair. If I were you, I'd give it up for the time being. Wait until after the holiday is done to study it. Very well, Dr. Partridge sighed. I'll announce that Common Area 3 is to be reopened to the rest of the site. Right. Chris stood up. I'm going to talk with Dr. Sinclair and Hendricks again. See if they've made any progress. Dr. Partridge replied with a non-committal and Chris headed out of the greenhouse into the abnormally warm December day. He made his way to basement level 5 where he knocked on the door to occult studies. Dr. Hendricks peeked out the door timidly. Oh, Hastings, come in. He opened the door and revealed that the entire lab was decorated with candles, just like the ones that Chris had brought in the other day. Hastings stared. What the hell? I don't know, Sinclair said, taking down a candle. Every time I try to remove them, new ones just pop up. I was only kidding about the Hydra thing. She took one down and doused it in water. 2 more popped up in its place. Is the Krampus being of any help with this? Asked Chris. Hell, he worked with the big guy in red. He must know something. Actually, Mynheer, said the Krampus from a seat near the entrance of the lab. The Wonder Worker wore brown more than red. Oh, said Chris before doing a double take. He's out of his cell? He can't leave the lab, Hendricks assured him. Sinclair made sure of that. But some kind of a bondage spell on him. Binding enchantment, said Sinclair, twitching slightly. I've bound him to something in this room that he doesn't know about, and he can't be more than 10 feet away from it at any time. Right, Chris edged away from the Krampus. So, endlessly replicating candles, a tree that can fit inside a room smaller than it. What does it all mean? We've been trying to find the source of the tree, Sinclair said. But Bailey's been of no help. He's been spending all day with his brothers. Perhaps I can talk to him, Hendricks said. Comedy night is tonight. You're welcome to come if you want, Sinclair. And leave this magnificent specimen? She indicated the Krampus. Unobserved? I'd rather go Fahrenheit 451 on the Library of Alexandria. Right, Hendricks sighed. Well, at least it'll be good to see the Baileys together again. Okay, guys. Let's take some bets here. Is this going to end positively like a true Christmas story, or in disaster? We've got 2 anomalies at the same time here. We've got the candle replicating Christmas tree, and we've got the Krampus. Alicia said what everybody else is hinting at. She's gonna yiff the Krampus. I mean, he did make her cookies. A bit of both, somebody said? Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking... Okay, yeah, I'm leaning there's gonna be a hint of light, but there is gonna be some sort of disaster. Definitely crumpet, if somebody said. And other people are mentioning bees, that there will be a storm of bees. Positive and negative at the same time, people saying. I'm getting a lot of people saying it's going to end in disaster. Well, we've only got a few more days of Christmas left to go, so let's find out what happens. On the 8th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. More appropriate background music. Oh, that's only 49 seconds? Screw that, let's get something longer. Yeah, there we go. Eight wrong addresses later, they came upon the proper tree farm. Tristan Bailey, Christopher Hastings, and Catherine Sinclair all stood before the Terra Incognita tree farm. Or at least that's what the sign out front claimed it was. The only problem is that there appeared to be no trees, nor a farm, and there seemed to be a distinct lack of anything incognita as well. Tristan frowned. I don't get it. I know I bought it from here. Looks like you got duped, Catherine sighed. God damn it. Why can't we have any normal holidays in this town? We live in Sloth's Pit, Dr. Sinclair, Christopher said, breathing into his gloved hands. Normal is relative, and in this town, it's a distant cousin 5 times removed that lives on Pluto. That metaphor really got away from you, Hastings. Tristan frowned and stepped over the threshold to the farm, past the sign, and vanished. Sinclair started. Shit! Christopher's jaw hit the ground. Did we just lose one of the sons of Tyler Bailey? Wise is going to have our asses on a platter. Tristan's head poked out of thin air. His body didn't follow. You guys okay? Sinclair regained her composure. Right, just as I suspected. Illusory magic. Well, let's, proceed. Christopher coughed, which by sheer coincidence sounded like the word bullshit. Tristan nodded and vanished again. Chris and Catherine filed and found themselves in a very different place from Sloth's Pit, Wisconsin. It was colder, for one, and there was actually snow. There were trees everywhere, ranging from 5-foot-tall Douglas firs to over 100-foot-tall spruces, all of which had price tags on them. The largest pine tree was the size of a skyscraper, so big that the entire place was in the shade of it. Sinclair gaped at it. Bailey. Yes, Sinclair? You bought a Christmas tree from a magic tree farm, and you didn't notice. I might have been slightly drunk at the time. Ah, welcome! A voice from nearby greeted them. Turning, Chris saw that it was a tall, white-haired being with pointed ears. He looked at Tristan. The being spoke in a soft, sweet-sounding voice. Ah, hello. You left your credit card here, you know. Sinclair and Chris stared at Tristan, who looked ashamed. Alright, I was plastered. Went out drinking with some people from the multi-U and had too much booze in the eggnog. Chris rubbed his face. That's beside the point. He looked over towards the elf, resisting the urge to ask if his name was Legolas. Sorry, but who are you? I am one of Alfheimer. Your friend here purchased a tree from us for the solstice celebration. He nodded to Tristan. He seemed quite happy with the purchase, but as he said, he was intoxicated. He held out a credit card to Tristan, who took it sheepishly. Thanks. Listen, there have been some complications with the tree. Oh, asked one of Alfheimer. Are you unhappy with the root? Is its enchantment not working? If by enchantment you mean making its own decorations, then it's working perfectly fine, said Sinclair. Excellent. The elf clapped its hands together. Then I presume you only returned for the credit card. Or do you wish to purchase more? We're just wondering if it's safe, honestly, Chris said. We've been studying it and... Studying? The elf frowned. Ah, you're one of the Foundation, then. And before you ask, yes, we know about you. You aren't terribly well liked, you know. Dr. Sinclair's hands balled up, and she rubbed at the scars on her arms. Look, we just want to know if something's going to happen to the tree that might hurt us. Nothing at all, the elf smiled. Unless, of course, it was within the vicinity of a Krampus. We don't terribly like those things. Tristan and Chris stared at Catherine, who stared, rubbing the back of her neck. About that. The elf stared back. Oh, by the All-Father. Are you serious? Well, at least you didn't damage it. Define damage, Chris said, looking nervous. Well, as long as you didn't break an ornament, it should be... You broke an ornament, didn't you? Chris nodded. I wanted to see what the inside of one of those candles looked like. For Wotan's sake! The elf threw up his arms. This is why my kind don't deal with you people. You always mess everything up. How bad is it going to be? The elf thought for a moment and simply said, Do you have the means to escape a universe at your disposal? Tristan spoke up. As a matter of fact, yes. Then I suggest you all run into there and escape this one. With that, the elf walked off. Tristan stared. Did I just instigate an XK scenario? He was probably exaggerating. I'll ask the Krampus about it tomorrow, Catherine said, smiling. On the 9th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me 9 minutes of swearing and cursing in German. The Krampus stared at Catherine. The tree is from Alfheim. Yes. And you broke its ornamentation. Around me. Oh, for the love. He rubbed his face. You need to banish me. Now. It might help. What's going to happen, Catherine said. Tell me, what's going to happen if we don't? Oh, nothing much. Just a Christmas tree coming to life and trying to kill me. Catherine's expression went flat. I believe you. Really? No flat what reaction? This is Sloth Pit, Wisconsin. Last Thanksgiving, we had animate turkey corpses attack the site. At this point, nothing surprises me. Right. The Krampus rubbed his face. All-Father isn't exactly pleased with the Wonder Maker intruding upon his territory. How is Santa Claus intruding on Odin's territory? Think about it. Leader of an important organization in the north, all sorts of servants of lower class than him, great flowing beard, pointy ears. Catherine sighed and dug some aspirin out of her pocket, rubbing her scars as she swallowed it. Right. So, either we watch you duel to death with a Christmas tree from Valhalla, or we banish you and let that Christmas tree tear us apart. That's the long and short of it, said the Krampus, biting the head off a gingerbread man. In all honesty, I'd rather have you here. We stand a better chance if we have something to fight against it. I was afraid you'd say that, the Krampus sighed. I'm willing to bet that spirits of other holidays don't have to put up with this. Catherine shrugged and was about to respond when there was a knock on the door of the lab. She peeked outside and saw all three of the Bailey brothers outside. That shouldn't have been outside twice. What do you want? We hear our brother screwed up, Trevor said, poking Tristan in the side. Tom nodded, giving Tristan a noogie. We wanted to see if there was any way we can help unscrew it up. Right. Okay, so this is going to need some planning. On the 10th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. That's at least 10 sprigs of holly I've seen you hang today, all of which are from my greenhouse. Dr. Partridge frowned at Tom Bailey. What exactly are you playing at? Do you want the entire site to start gluing their faces together? Quite frankly, we're trying to prevent the site from being destroyed by a psychotic Christmas tree. Tom started to hang the mistletoe from the door to the entomology wing. Again? Hush, Tom frowned as he hung the mistletoe from a strand of red string. The Christmas of 2008 never happened. We all agreed on it. It was Christmas in 2008? Snarked Tristan as he passed by, putting up sacrificial gingerbread men along the hallway. Tom pointed at Tristan. Tristan pointed at Tom, and they both went, Hey! I will never understand how Tyler Bailey could produce sons like you. Dr. Partridge shook his head and started walking off. As he went, Tom shouted after, You know, our mom might have had something to do with that. Tristan laughed and continued pinning the cookies to the walls. Tom looked over at him. So, Weiss is still relatively lenient, I see. Anything for the good of the site, Tom. Tristan smiled. Not exactly what I meant, Tom said, shaking his head. By the way, point of interest. Trevor hung some mistletoe over Dr. Hennessy's office. Tristan frowned. And this is relevant to me how, Thomas? Oh, I know you're bullshitting me. You only call me Thomas when you're bullshitting me. Tristan sighed. Is it that obvious? Tristan, the stain on your collar's the same color as her lipstick. On a related note, wash your fucking shirt once in a while. Look, if anyone at the site finds out, Claire will be ruined. Think about it, the head of multi-use sleeping with the kid of the person who invented the muta. Yeah, could be worse, Tom said. You could be a chick. Tristan threw a gingerbread cookie at the back of Tom's head. He winced as it collided. What was that for? For reminding me there's a universe where we're the Bailey sisters, Tristan shivered. Trevor walked by at this point. I don't know. Thought I was kind of hot in that universe. Of course you would think that, Tom said, going on to the next doorway to put up some mistletoe. Right, so we have less than a day until that tree wakes up. Is the site going to be evacuated? Probably, Trevor said. It's the safest thing to do. And we're going to miss an all-out brawl between two holiday spirits, Tom frowned. Damn. Hey, I'll see if we can at least get the security footage of it after the fact. Has Hastings figured out how to move the tree yet, by the way? He's working on it. Tom paused meaningfully as he heard a chainsaw rev up from the direction of Common Area 3, followed by the scream of a D-Class as the kickback of said saw made him lose an arm. That's terrible. Well, at least this Christmas won't be green. Tristan pinned another gingerbread man to the wall. On the 11th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me. At 11 in the morning, all hell broke loose at Site 87. The majority of the site had evacuated the night before, but a few had stayed behind, all by choice, in order to study the events. From botany, Dr. Partridge and Christopher Hastings were there to observe the tree's behavior. From occult studies, Dr. Sinclair and, reluctantly, Dr. Hendricks, to keep the Krampus in check. And from multi-universal affairs, the Bailey brothers, ready to shove both the Krampus and the tree in the multi-universal transit array if the need arose. Right, Dr. Partridge said. Explain to me how this all is going to work again. The gingerbread cookies will act as sacrifices for the Krampus in place of blood sacrifices, Sinclair explained. This will empower it to fight E2512. The mistletoe acts as a mechanism to contain E2512, in theory at least, and the bottles of Coca-Cola will act as the spiced wine for the banishing ritual for the tree. Magic. Got it. Catherine frowned. He wasn't incorrect, but why bother asking in the first place? Meanwhile, in a parallel universe that actually had facilities to contain a psychotic Christmas tree and had done so before, Tristan Bailey was meeting with his counterpart. Or at least, he thought it was his counterpart. God, that goatee looks ugly, Tristan said to his other self. Oh, I know, said Tristan too. I'm thinking of shaving it off. Oi, Trevor yelled, having an identical goatee to Tristan too. It looks good on you, both Tristan and Tu said, blatantly lying. Are you jackasses ready to contain this thing? Asked Dr. Hendricks over their earpieces. Or is this going to be 2008 all over again? What happened in 2008? Asked Tom too, pushing up his glasses. Do you have a paleontology department at 87 in this universe? Tom asked, adjusting his hat. Yeah. We don't have one in our universe anymore. Yikes, Trevor too said, fiddling with his own straw hat. Meanwhile, in our universe, the Krampus stepped into Common Area 3, nostrils flaring as it bit the head off a gingerbread man. The tree simply stood there, taunting him. Well? No response from the tree. Come on, I know you want to do this. I'm a spirit of a holiday, you're a Christmas tree. Just get it over with already. I'm imagining the Krampus to have, like, the personality of Hellboy, like Ron Perlman's Hellboy, you know? More silence. Dr. Partridge called from behind. See if you can get a sample of its needles. The Krampus turned its head to say something along the lines of fuck off and got blindsided by a sucker punch from the Christmas tree. The conifer had sprouted evergreen limbs and had leapt forward to strike at the horned beast. It was at this point that Christopher Hastings finally began to question the choices in his life that had led him up to this point. He would have questioned it more had a blast of energy not come from the tree topper and hit Dr. Partridge in the chest, sending him sprawling. At that point, Chris started running away. The Krampus stayed behind to fight, peppermint-scented blood dripping from the wounds as he was pushed back to the first mistletoe barrier. The tree let out a screech and attempted to muscle through the wall created by the sprays of berries, and fired a ball of green energy through it, obliterating the barrier. The Krampus dove out of the way in time, and the ball hit the ceiling, causing it to sprout pine needles, which then started to rain down on the Krampus, impaling the creature and pinning it to the ground. He would recover, but not before the Christmas tree tore apart the entire site looking for the one who damaged it. Oh no. Oh no, I get it. Chris ran all the way down to Multi-U, leaving the doors to the stairwells open on every level so that the tree would search the entire facility until it found him. He just hoped Dr. Sinclair was right about the tree wanting to get him after it took out Krampus, and as it turned out, she was. He just didn't count on the tree being able to use the elevator. He gawked as the doors to the one on the Multi-U level opened, and a 15-foot-tall tree thing stepped out, the topper glowing bright red and green. I hate this job. He started running, but he was out of breath from going down about a dozen flights of stairs. Arcs of red and green light went over his head, impacting on the walls and turning into pine needles, holly, myrrh, frankincense, and it occurred to Chris that he should stop identifying the various Christmas-related plants and just run. As he ran down the corridor, panting loudly, he drew a sprig of mistletoe from his pocket and held it in front of him like Van Helsing would hold a cross to Dracula. Unfortunately, at this moment, the tree was acting more like Alucard. It simply kept lumbering towards him, and the entrance to the Muta was over 50 yards away. He could run for it, but it was too late. Christopher was knocked to the ground by a blast of green light hitting the hand with mistletoe in it. He yelped in pain as he felt pine needles grow through his hand. The mistletoe sprig was thrown to the ceiling above the tree where it clung. An entire bush of mistletoe burst from the modular ceiling, toppling the tree to the ground where it flailed about, unable to regain its footing. Christopher Hastings was somewhat aware of this as he blacked out. Hastings! Hastings? Christopher was awoken by a slap to the face. Dr. Sinclair stood in front of him, smiling. Oh, thank God. We thought you were dead. Christopher blinked awake, looking around. The Christmas tree was flailing about on the ground, and as being loaded up onto a small cart by 6 Bailey triplets, with Dr. Hendricks assisting, lining the cart with mistletoe just to make sure. Chris winced as he looked at his arm. It was bloody, covered with pine needles which had burst outwards from under the skin. Son of a bitch. We're getting you to surgery. Catherine looked up at the mistletoe bush sprouting from the ceiling. Fascinating. The blasts appear to have transfigured parts of the site into holiday-related plants, including mistletoe. It hoisted itself by its own petard. Christopher blanched as he realized something, standing up slowly. Dr. Partridge got hit. Hell. They ran, or in Chris's case, hobbled off to where Dr. Partridge had fallen, only to find an odd, small shrub where his body was. Christopher stepped over to inspect the plant. It's a small tree of the genus Pyrus. English, please? Dr. Partridge is now a pear tree. Catherine wanted to laugh, but all she could do was scream. Oh my God, you guys with the Fs. On the 12th day of Christmas, 87 gave to me 12 piles of paperwork, standing before members of various departments. One for the incident reports, one for casualties sustained, one for property damage, and so on. There were only 2 casualties for the whole thing, thank God. And even then, Dr. Partridge had already regained sapience and the ability to talk, but was excused from doing paperwork for the time being. Because of course he is, muttered Chris, doing 2 piles worth of paperwork at the same time. What do you expect, Hastings? Tom sighed, filling out Containment Form 281C while Tristan next to him filled out Multi-Universal Negotiation Form 88B. He got turned into a fucking tree. He has an excuse. My subdermis got turned into a conifer. Chris held up his arm, which was in a sling, wincing as he did so. Dr. Sinclair sighed at him, getting up from a finished pile of paperwork regarding cross-contamination of anomalous objects. I can take care of a few sheets if you want. Just expect calls from me when it comes to requisitioning stuff. Thanks, Sinclair. You're a lifesaver. He sighed. Merry friggin' Christmas, eh? Oh, by the way, Trevor said, filling out the paperwork he had on his tablet, you might want to come down to Multi-U tonight. We've got a present for you all. How'd you feel about going to an alternate universe for Christmas? Asked Tristan. I've had enough Christmas anomalies for 1 year, Christopher said, heading out. The three brothers snickered as Chris exited the room, limping slightly as he headed down to the Occult Studies laboratory, just to check on something related to Christmas. When he arrived there, he found the Krampus as he expected, but also someone else. Standing with the Krampus, talking to it, was a young woman with bright red hair and green eyes, wearing the ugliest Christmas sweater that Chris had ever seen, along with a hat that had a fake set of elf ears on it. She grinned maniacally as she talked. Good thing we had Emma to fill in for you. We nearly made a botch of the whole thing. My apologies, mein Chef, the Krampus said, bowing to her. I was indisposed. Did you really fight a Christmas tree? She blinked as she noticed Christopher standing in the doorway. Why, hello! Merry Christmas to you! Christopher blinked. Are you authorized to be in here? Well, this place has Christmas decorations all around and my friend is here, she grinned. I don't see why I wouldn't be allowed in here. Chris laughed for no good reason. He didn't know why he laughed. Something about the woman just filled him with an odd kind of joy. Right, okay. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to to leave. Fair enough. I'm just here to collect my friend. She rummaged around the lab. Let's see, where'd she put, Aha! She reached into a drawer and picked up a beaker which had an odd glow about it. She took it in her hands and motioned the Krampus closer. Not a half-bad binding spell, if I do say so myself. This doctor has some potential. She gave a grin to Chris. Right, we must be off. Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. With that, the woman and the Krampus disappeared behind one of the lab counters like they were walking down a set of stairs. When he came to look at it, they were both gone entirely. At this point, Christopher decided that even though it was only 1 in the afternoon, he needed a drink. That evening, everyone at Site 87 wore Christmas sweaters that were almost as ugly as the one worn by the odd woman in Occult Studies. There was even a contest for who had the ugliest one, which the Baileys won, and the whole site drank several mugs of eggnog. As he was drinking his 7th, or was it 8th mug of eggnog, Christopher Hastings passed by a new Christmas tree which had hastily been erected in Common Area 3, and noticed something. Under the Christmas tree was a present, which had a tag that read as such. To Christopher Hastings, from Dr. W. and Air K. Raising an eyebrow, he took the present out from under the tree, noticing that there was a present like this for Sinclair, the 3 Baileys, and Dr. Hennessy, oddly enough. He shrugged and unwrapped his gift. Inside was a framed picture that he swore was never taken, of himself, the 3 Baileys, Dr. Sinclair, and several other Site 87 staff members, all in Christmas attire. He saw the message at the bottom of the frame. May your Christmas spirit be uncontained. He laughed and walked out of the room, picture under his arm. Yay! So that was fun. Ooh, the chat flew by for a second. So, happy end, yes. So, it didn't really turn into that much of a disaster. Yes, Dr. Partridge did get turned into a pear tree momentarily, and poor Christopher Hastings needed surgery to pull a bunch of pine needles out of his arm, but, yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Krampus fought a goddamn Christmas tree. You're right. Yes, he did. Okay. So, hail hydrate. Everybody take a moment, because I need it. Okay, and now let's go ahead and take a look at some of these donation messages that we've got in here. We left off at Steam Powered Giraffe. Okay. So, Catherine Rancourt, $5. Please let your boyfriend know he's a cutie pie, and also please do not curb stomp us all for adoring you as we do. Also, happy solstice. Bright solstice, Catherine. Love to anybody who gets that reference. Nightsuck said, okay, I'm gonna say thanks for making me cry. Also, hope you'll like the new edits I'll be posting for you. Also, how are you and Quite? I don't know. When was the last time I talked to Quite? Oh, the last time I talked to Quite was when he spotted that image of me in the new Odd Ones Out video, and he was flipping out that I was in that. So Quite's good. But that was last I spoke to him. I'm sure he's doing fine. He's been uploading. The Space Child. Hey Nick, good to see you live streaming again. Good to see you here for it. Carsy Day said, I'll give you these 10 shackles of humanity if you can tell me who your favorite boss in the Souls are and why. I would have to actually play the games to know that. Sorry. I am dying inside, said Nightmind. I love your content and your soothing voice. I grew up with a speech impediment. Not apraxia though, so this hits close to home. Definitely a good cause. And that's exactly why I do it, is speech therapy is something that's not just for kids with apraxia. Kids with apraxia would definitely need speech therapy, hardcore speech therapy, and dedicated speech therapy. But speech therapy is beneficial for anybody who goes through it. It gives a lot more than just the ability to form words a bit more properly. It provides confidence. It provides the ability to socialize without fear. And that is immensely important to children and their development. So it does mean a lot, especially to somebody who's got apraxia, you know. Your average potato donated $75. Thank you so much. Just doing a good deed for the year. Alster said, Hey, Alster, wishing you, your boyfriend, and Banks a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Relax and prepare for what will be a great 2019. Thank you, Alster. Procopius Jones said, keeping up the spirit of nice/happy SCPs, how about you take a look at SCP-3338? It will give us all more happy feelings inside. Maybe I will. Thank you. Little Miss Artist said, Merry Christmas, Nick. It's Evia's Art Trash from Twitter. I hope you're having a great holiday. P.S. Can we get you saying Daddy Nightmind in one of your voice? Thanks. That's one I don't think I've said yet. Daddy Nightmind. Cat Daddy is something that I've said before, but that's different. Sierra Harris. Ah, you missed my first super chat. Do you think you could look for it in the list and read it? P.S. You and Cthulhu owe me $5. I missed it? Okay, hold on. Let's see. It's a shame there's not a search function on here. Just a moment. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, that... Yeah, I guess there are a few that I missed, actually. Sorry. For some reason, I guess the list jumped on me last time. Katrina Simmons with $77 donation. That's huge, thank you. Spent my youth in hospitals due to autoimmune diseases, and I've seen apraxia firsthand. What a great overlooked condition to fundraise for. It's my dream to get well and make a series, so thanks for showing us all what's possible, Nick. You're absolutely welcome, and thank you so much. Best of luck to you. Ulster, previous donation. Hit or miss? I guess I never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend? I bet he doesn't kiss you. Moi. You'd be wrong. You're gonna find another girl and he won't miss you. He gonna skirt and hit the dab like Wiz Khalifa. Oh, I can't believe you made me read that. There's Sierra Harris. Could you say... The realm of Necrophagus is pretty neat, Vader. It's my friend's D&D game and he's shy. Yeah, the realm of Necrophagus is pretty neat, Vader. Kaharo, do you know if Dr. Bright still has the Dragon Sword, or if he even had the Dragon Sword? That's classified. Okay, there we go. So, those missing ones caught up. Previously redacted, now found. Alex Valdez says, "Oh well, Cat Daddy, you're amazing." Thank you, Alex. PXR Moto Nicole. Merry Christmas, Nick. It's wonderful listening to you as I work. It's wonderful to be here for you as you're working. Alex Bennett, will this stream be archived in its entirety? Yeah, the stream is going to be archived. Oh, sorry, I think I've got something going on with my OBS here. Just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes the system's weird. Okay, Kazmina. Crashing now, so hope everyone has a good night. Also, Mr. Nocturne, have you had a chance to take a peek at Frederick's new video? Oh, Fred's video? On Temple OS? Yes, I have. That was a fun one. Don't know, says Redacted. Lord of Laughs said, "Happy holidays from the SCP Wiki, Nick. We love you and your voice. Also, Scantron would like to remind you Christmas is stored in the balls." Love Site 19. Well then I guess it's there you go, kids, you just learned a fact. Amanda Bailey. Hey Nick, it's Amanda the Red from Twitter. My boyfriend and I have been watching since Marvel Hornets Explained, and I was wondering if you could wish him an early happy 2-year anniversary from me. It's on 1/17. A very happy early anniversary to you. Thank you so much, Amanda. Tom Ferreira said, "The only thing that can stop Slendy, the Collective, the Rake, and Habit is the Cat Daddy himself, Nick Nocturne. I wish I had that power." Naga Blackwing said, "I think Krampus has a girlfriend now." Ah, he's got a something. I'm thinking it was insinuating that it was one of his own elves. Compact Sora. "Thank you for doing such a rad charity thing, Nick. I hope this becomes like a yearly thing." Ooh, we just might make it so. I enjoy doing fun things around the holiday. Have you heard of The Residents? Definitely an odd band. I have not, but now I have. Anna said, "Hi, hope you have a happy holiday. Could you wish my bestie Audrey a Merry Christmas? She's a big fan too, much love to you, and I'm glad this exists." Merry Christmas, Audrey. Tom Ferreira said, "I'd like to call the Rake the Reek." And then, the Rake girlfriend name is the Hoe. Oh my god. That's horrible. Emma Clark said, "It's 2 a.m. in the UK right now, but this is worth it. And my buddy Riser. It's Christmas, so I'm broke as fuck, but I still want to show some love and support for you and what you're doing. Wish I could stay longer, but it's 3 a.m. Hey, the perfect time to be paying attention to one of my live streams, though, Riser. Thank you." "Have I watched any of the Volgans videos?" asked Cyrene. I have not, but I know about the Volgan. Very dedicated channel. Gray the Odd said, "Just watched a VR chat vid about a girl with apraxia called 'My Friend Who Has Been Mute Since Birth Speaks for the First Time.' Speaks for itself." Absolutely it does. Thank you so much, Gray. Submech Agent B said, "Hey Nick, do you think you might ever tackle Kreta Grisba TV? It's a Polish YouTube ARG thingy. You might like it." Maybe I would like it. Who knows? Riley Smith says, "SPCs, Cat Daddy, and edibles tonight is super." Is that code for something? Thank you, Riley. Them Halo guy said, "Thanks for calling my D&D game neat, Nick. I'm Vader. DM for Necrophagus." Cool. Speckoff said, "Y'all mind if I plug one of my old videos real quick? Look up OzFox shitpost and play the audio. Just turn down the volume first." Nightzuck said, are we gonna see your face plus know your boyfriend, Ufu? Uwu? You've already seen my face. My face is in art. My face is in that fursuit ad. And Tom Ferrer said, have you heard? Oh boy. This can only end with one follow-up. Angie L said, I love trolling my friends and showing them your Ben's Playhouse video under the pretense it's a true story. Always funny. Merry Christmas, Nick. That is funny. Nightsuck, plus, can you tell me your thoughts on my edit you saw? It was very kind of you. Thank you. Tom Ferrer said, yeah, bird, bird, bird. The bird is the word. I Was Never Here says, hey man, thanks for deconstructing horror. Seeing logic applied to fictional horror really helps to quiet my own anxiety. Thanks for helping me and for helping those kids. Absolutely, thank you. You guys are helping the most right now. Glenn T said, thank you for the great videos and Merry Christmas. And Tom Ferrer said, I'm sorry, I had to. Thank you. And now, I did remember during the stream, I was remembering in general, I have it written down for at some point, but I remembered during the stream and thought this would actually be a good chance to do so. I do have the art that people have submitted. Oh my god. What is... Wow! Holy crap. Okay, so somebody who's been listening in, called Wolf Expert on Twitter, decided to make like an advent calendar art piece of the story 12 Days of Christmas at Site 87. Hold on. So I just put the link in the chat, and you can go ahead and click on that from Wolf Expert, or just go to my Twitter. And let's see, Twitter, there it is. And let's see, are there any more art pieces hiding in the notifications? Let's make sure I don't miss that. Oh my god. And there's one that they made about the previous one too, SCP-2536. That is too great. And we've got one here by Festive Bunny. Very cute piece. Thank you, Bunny. Oh my god, Wolf Expert, how do you keep cranking these out? More like speed art expert, damn. Oh wow, this is beautiful. I've got art here by Sierra D that is absolutely exquisite. It's got my fur-puck outfit on and everything. Sierra, thank you so much. Nick the F made a sketch that's pretty funny, titled Cool Cat Saves the Kids. That is cute. Thank you. And let's see, where are the other pieces? Okay, just a moment. Now I've got them on my main page. Oh! We've got a piece from Taboo Wise Guy here. Love the stream so far. They say thank you. Okay, just a moment while I pull this up. Here are 3 really cute pieces by Tyler's Ghost. The third of which is a Happy Holidays piece, so appropriate there. And almost over to it. There's one in particular, like specifically for the stream that somebody made. There it is. Now I really love this one. This one is too funny. And also, some of you might recognize this style. That's because it's by the creator of the comic N-Town. That's been going on for a few years now, and their viewer actually. It's a couple who works on it, and they're their viewers. So the artist for that, Aaron Ethery, he made that. And I do believe that's all the art for now. Let me go ahead and just check on the notifications here. Oh, this is cute. From Michael Garcia. I drew my OC Frankie wearing a shirt inspired by Nick Nocturne. Thank you so much. Maybe I should make a design that's just the eyes like that. Might be smart. Okay, let's kick on some music again and get back to the donations. And you guys have been doing amazing so far. Like, I don't think I can see the total so far from this side, but just from how much you guys have submitted, I'm gonna be blown away. I know it. it's gonna be nuts. I'll be able to see, I think, at the end of this. There might be more calculations on the YouTube side afterwards. By counting up all the super chats, but I should be able to see when it's in the middle of or when it's done processing to go up as an actual big piece to be watched by anybody after the fact, and I'm excited for that. Hopefully this makes for a good companion for people tomorrow as they're working on all their Christmas Eve things. And even some Christmas Day stuff, because, for a lot of people, after the presents in the morning and the family, it's like, what do you do at night? Sometimes you just want to hang out or, test out a new device you got with some YouTube or something. Oh, I have so many tabs open. Hold on. There it is. Okay, so that was Site 87 Christmas. So let's just go ahead and get a few more of these donation messages, and then we'll jump into something new. Michael Kelly said, any more Adult Swim horror? Merry Christmas. Maybe. They've done some stuff recently that I'm aware of that I haven't had a moment to actually look at yet, but I'd very much like to. So there's a chance. Whenever Adult Swim does something that's, avant-garde or horror-leaning, I want to be all over that. I want to see that. So there's a chance. It just, there's not a guaranteed video, but if I've got something to say about it and it drives me wild, I'll definitely go for it. Jay Dorian said thank you for being a constant source of inspiration to this fan of the weird. Happy holidays to you and yours, Mr. Cat Daddy. Happy holidays to you as well, Dorian. Thank you. Tom Ferreira said, Slender Man is the whitest son of a redacted I've ever seen in my life. He truly is. Jemshin said, are we festive yet? I'd say we're festive by now. Tom Ferreira said, who knew that I would feel happy for Victor from the Slender series being reunited with his wife? And Jessica S. said, Nick, can we get a demo from your upcoming ASMR channel? Well, I could get a drink right now. You guys are silly. Okay, guys, so how about we change pace a little bit here and pull forward a no-sleep story. And now we just wait for the feedback to go all the way through. Happy holidays to you too, Avalon. Martin Huber saying, God damn it, Nick, I'm supposed to be straight. Not too creepy, right? All the creepy. No, Tom Ferrer, I have not seen the Wakey Wakey trailer. Mizuki Dragonai said, I keep imagining Dr. Bright in the background monitoring you, laughing his ass off and making inappropriate comments to the stories you're reading. You don't know the half of it! Anyway, let's go over to the No Sleeps. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Let's see who's the first to the chase. Somebody choose a number between 1 and 5. Go! Three. First one to get it was a 3. Don't know, put in 6. That's not an option. So we'll go ahead and start off with 3. The Girl in the Snowstorm. But first, we'll get this donation message. Inky, because of adopting a doggo, I finally get to stay home and enjoy Christmas with my favorite content creators. Thank you for helping make this year special. Thank you for coming through on tonight and hanging out with us. And congratulations on your special friend now. It's always wonderful to adopt. And yep, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is definitely getting a TV show. I am looking forward to that. Okay, so you know what? We're on to No Sleeps now, so we're going to need a change of pace for music. We're going to need a very specific change of pace for music. Yeah, that's the stuff. Now you know what channel you're on. Okay. The Girl in the Snowstorm. I've seen her again. The Girl in the Snowstorm. I didn't know that I was in danger the first time I saw her. On the contrary, it was an experience that I kept thinking about all winter. It was over a decade ago when I was visiting a friend that morning to drop off a Christmas present for him. It was a few miles from home, but I enjoyed the walk despite it being an even colder winter than usual. My mother had warned me to return home soon, as the local news was predicting a blizzard that evening, so I kept my visit brief and started home that afternoon. By the time I'd made it halfway, the wind was brutally cold, and the snow was falling so heavily that I could barely see where I was. It was too late to turn back and bunker down at my friend's place, so I had to keep walking home. I wore glasses back then, switched to contacts a few years back, had to take them off. It was bad enough to see everything as white blurs, but it was impossible to see anything through wet, snow-covered lenses. Walking through a blizzard without being able to see is a helpless feeling. You can only hope that you're heading the right way, fighting the wind not just to stay upright, to make sure that you don't lose your sense of direction. You can't see the nearby buildings very well, and you're constantly on the lookout for familiar sights that can tell you where you're at. I followed the sidewalk as best as I could, occasionally stepping off the curb or onto someone's lawn. It was in this blurry haze of snow and wind that I first saw the girl. The first thing I noticed was the red scarf blowing madly in the wind. She was walking in the opposite direction, and at first, it looked like she was on the other side of the street. The closer she got, the more I questioned what direction I was looking in. Was she crossing the street, or was I not walking on the sidewalk anymore? I could barely tell where I was. I took a moment to make sure I was still on the sidewalk, and by the time I confirmed where I was, the girl was only a few yards away. I could see her more clearly. She was wearing a mismatched assortment of winter clothes and a lot of layers, even 2 hats. Her puffy blue jacket was oversized and unzipped. Underneath, I could see that she was wearing another heavy coat. She didn't look intimidating at all. On the contrary, she looked vulnerable. She was short and notably thin, almost unhealthily so. I was almost 10 at the time, so I imagined that she couldn't have been older than that. The way she was bundled up in so many layers of clothes made her look uncomfortable, and gave her an uneven, lumpy shape. I assumed at the time that she was poor, maybe even homeless. Instead of walking past each other, we simply stopped in front of one another. Something compelled me to stare down at her, and she looked up at me with a sort of vague expectation. Her hat and scarf covered most of her face, leaving only her eyes and part of her cheeks visible. Her eyes were big and dark, like black holes against her pale skin and the surrounding snow. I lost myself in her stare, like I was falling into her eyes. It was like I was in some sort of trance, pulled to her without realizing it, made utterly passive. She took her earmuffs off, but didn't speak. "Hi," I said weakly, not knowing what to say. She looked me up and down, and something about that made me shiver, even in the cold. It was like she was taking stock of me, of what I had to offer. Before I could ask what she wanted, the girl held her hands up. They were pale, shaking, bare. The girl didn't have any gloves. Something about the way she looked at me so impatiently made me look down at my own gloved hands. I didn't have a particularly good set of gloves, but they were the only pair I had. I looked at her again. Something about her big, dark eyes. They just made me want to give them to her. I took my gloves off and held them out for her to take. I almost regretted it, but then her freezing hand touched my bare skin as she took them. They were so cold that I knew this was the right thing. She put the gloves on, looked up and smiled. The scarf was still covering most of her face, but I could see it in how her cheeks raised up and in the sparkle of her eyes. As she started to walk past me, I realized that the blizzard was easing up. I put my glasses on, turned around and looked at the girl. She had stopped walking and was staring down at the gloves, admiring them. "Merry Christmas," I mumbled to myself, and she looked back at me, almost as if she could hear me over the wind. I waved, realized my hands were cold, and shoved them into my jacket pockets. She nodded and turned around, continuing her walk to wherever she was going, but not in any sort of hurry. I was only a block away from my house, so my hands weren't cold for very long. When I walked inside, my mother immediately noticed that they were missing. For some reason, I didn't tell her the truth, despite how chivalrous it would have made me sound. I lied, suggesting that I must have forgotten them at my friend's house, and went up to my room. Something about the girl made me want to keep our interaction private, like it was something special. I sat down on my bed and mulled over what I'd just experienced. I didn't exactly have a crush on the girl, but something about the way she stared at me was so compelling, like I was defenseless against it. I wanted to see her again. I looked out from my bedroom window, somehow expecting to see the girl, and she was there, on the other side of the street. It was like she'd been waiting for me. I opened my window, blasted by cold air, and waved at her. She waved back, then started walking away. I watched her walk out of view, wondering who she was, where she'd come from, and if she was ever there at all. Something about her felt unreal, like I'd vividly imagined her. I'd hoped to see her again that winter, but never did. Whenever I went outside, shoving my hands into my pockets, I wondered if she still had the gloves. Whenever I got home, I checked my window to see if she was standing on the other side of the street again, waiting for me. I daydreamed about running into her during one of my walks, which just so happened to become much more frequent, but I never saw her. Not as a child, anyway. That year was memorably cold. Blizzards moved in and out, roads were all slick with ice, and inches of snow fell every day. We always had some snow, but that year was bad. This winter's been pretty heavy so far, but not on that level. We've had a lot of snow and ice, but no blizzards yet. It's the perfect kind of winter for long walks in the snow. Last week I was enjoying the season and going on a long walk. It was snowing slightly, and the sky was a solid white of clouds. It was a very peaceful walk at first, but then I saw something in the distance, on the other side of the street. It was a girl, short and bundled up in layers of winter clothing. Most of the clothes were different, but that red scarf brought me right back to the meeting a decade before. It was her. I'd been obsessed with this girl as a child, reminded of her every winter for years. It was like opening a time capsule of memories buried in the back of my mind since I was in middle school. But at the same time, it was more than memories. She was standing right across the street in mostly different clothes, but the girl was the same size, the same height. She hadn't aged a day. I was lost in that impossible thought, wondering if she had just really short and petite, when I realized she was crossing the street and heading in my direction. Does she recognize me, I wondered? I couldn't move and I didn't want to. Something was so disarming about the surreal sight of this girl from 10 years ago. I remember wondering, as a child, if I'd imagined her. Hadn't she followed me home and waved at me from across the street? Did I just make that up and forget that it wasn't true? She stopped right in front of me and looked up. I remember how I looked down into her large eyes, so dark that they looked black against the white of her face in the snow. Here we were again. I was an adult, and sure enough, she was still a child. Her scarf still covered up her lower face, but I could see from the upper half that she looked exactly the same, like she walked through time to see me again. However, the clothes had aged. Her scarf was worn and stained, her jackets ripped in some places. She had a different pair of gloves that looked fairly new, and I wondered if some young boy gave them to her. Did he also think that he imagined her? She looked me up and down, and I remember that she did the same thing last time, taking stock. I assumed in the moment that she was looking for something to ask me for, another article of clothing to keep her warm, and I was right. She settled on my scarf, and she lightly tugged on it as if demanding it. I pulled off my scarf, ignoring how cold it made my neck, and handed it over. There was something so strange about the experience that I just felt like I had to go with it, if only to see where it was going. Like before, I was compelled by something in her stare to do what she wanted. I was transfixed by this impossible girl. Then she removed her red scarf, and I almost let myself scream. The skin of her mouth and chin were stained red, and large fangs jutted down from amongst her upper teeth. She looked up as she dropped her old scarf on the ground and started putting mine around her neck, giggling at the sight of my fear. I was grateful when she covered her mouth with my scarf, but still terrified. I was glued to the spot but desperately wanted to run. She had had a sort of disarming aura about her, but it was gone, replaced by danger. I felt compelled to get away from this bloody-mouthed child, but frozen in place at the same time. She laughed again, the light and innocent joy of youth. And then she spoke. "I remember you." Did you move? I nodded silently, otherwise unable to move. I couldn't stop staring at her eyes. At first, I'd assumed that they were brown and simply looked darker in contrast to the light, but now I could see the endless pits of blackness. I could feel a sort of force moving from her eyes to me, compelling me to stay put, to do what she wanted. She had me under her spell and she knew it. It was funny to her. "Oh, I think I remember where you live then," she said before giggling again. "Thanks for the gloves. And the scarf. Stay warm." She walked past me. I heard her footsteps in the snow get further away, but couldn't will myself to turn around. I didn't want to see her right behind me, admiring her new scarf as she'd admired the gloves I gave her a few decades ago. Would I have waved at her too if she was there? I imagine I would have if I had the feeling that it was what she wanted. When I got home, I locked the doors and windows, willing myself not to look out and see if she was waiting for me again, like she had been the first time. I haven't left the house since. I've tried to convince myself she was imaginary, but I'd rather be terrified than let myself believe I'm crazy. My mom asked me if I was okay yesterday. I brushed it off and asked her about the heavy winter a decade before. She recalled that it was particularly bad, even worse than they thought. When I asked what she meant, she told me the local news kept running stories that followed spring about a few missing people who'd been found after the snow all melted away. They had been left dead on the side of the road, as if they'd just keeled over and been covered by snow without anyone noticing. My mom remembered that one of the missing was from this side of town. I've since looked into it, and this side of town is really only a mile or so away from our home. The article I found mentioned that the person who discovered that body also mentioned there was dried blood on their coat and neck, like they'd cut themselves falling and bled to death right by the sidewalk. I have my own theories. You may be wondering why I'm staying indoors when the girl from the snowstorm knows where I live. The thing is, I'm not sure she can enter my home without an invitation. Either way, I'm not going to risk going outside again. Not that I have the courage to do so in the first place. I can barely will myself to look out the window at this point. I don't know what to do besides share my experience with all of you, in the hopes that you're also careful this winter. Even if you're not a local, there's no telling how many of those things are out there. And if you have to go outside, bundle up. And that was the girl in the snowstorm. Somebody says, "This is what my neighbors think about me." A little bit more volume on voice? Yeah, I guess I was a bit quiet there. There we go. That ought to do it. Woo! Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a quick break. Quick break. Everybody give themselves 5 minutes. We'll be back right after these non-existent messages. Hello, hello, hello. I think that's enough of a break. Did everybody get a new drink? Now, before we continue on, it does seem like I've got some new art for the stream on Patreon, so I do want to go ahead and make sure that we get that shared out there. Let's see here. We have Cloud LaFox, who drew this for the stream. Just a moment. Yeah, Just Thompson's right. Everybody stop talking about Yif and the bees. The poor bees can't take it. Besides, the queen has dominion over that. And we've got this lovely sketch here by Moy, aka Legend of Me. And a cute piece here by A Big Bear. Thank you. And we've got Evie's Art Trash, who actually, your profile picture reminds me, Evie. Yeah, you made a piece. I swore I must have. Yeah, there it is. There's the retweet of it. I did catch it. Haha. But I didn't get to put it out earlier, so let me go ahead and correct that. So here's a piece that was made for the stream. Me being very festive. Oh my god! You know what? Wolf Expert himself might be, or themselves might be a cryptid. For at this point. They might be an anomaly that requires study for how quick they're pumping this stuff out. Look what they drew in the meantime. It's the girl in the snowstorm. That is too good. Ooh, and we've got this this cute piece by Lilac. Just a moment here. I don't know what SCP-999 is, but I'm certainly going to have to look it up now. That's very cute. Okay, and that's everything that I could see so far here. Oh, hold on. Let me just refresh. Susan LeBlanc with me saying, it was a rude giving tree. Hold on, let me go ahead and share this out to you guys here. Yep, it's 9:54 p.m. where I am as well. Eastern Standard Time, you know. And we got this cute piece by Zeke the Proto-Gem. His eyes glowing at you in the dark. Oh my god, is he? Yif Krampus. Ooh, Lizzie Stargazer has a piece that they made. This is nice. Oh my god, and this is great. Cloud McFox coming in with a little bit of a throwback, something I haven't done in a while. The Dark Arcade. Oh man, the text is beautiful on this. Thank you so much, Cloud. All right. And with that, let's go ahead and get the show back on the road here. So, slot 3 has already been fulfilled. Let's go ahead and cue up some new music. Yeah, you know what? I like that one. Oh, I didn't say to I didn't say to start yet, guys. But okay, hold on. Okay, let's try this again by adding in a new variable. You can't say 3 because we've already done 3. So, for your choice between 1 to 5, excluding 3, write the word gift and then your number. First one to get it goes. Gift 1! Gray the odd. You pulled it out. Perfect. Okay, this will be a fun one. It's a short one, but it's a fun one. Little bit of an increase on the music here. Okay. This is a no-sleep story called Someone Has Been Leaving Presents Under My Christmas Tree. Let me just get this out of the way now. I'm a grown-ass man who has no friends or family within a 200-mile radius. No, it's not because of work or school. It's simply a conscious choice. I just don't like people. I'm sure my bitch of a wife and judgmental father can be blamed for that. I have anger issues myself, but at least I acknowledge my flaws. Call me a Scrooge, Grinch, or Grouch, I don't give a damn. But what you can't call me is crazy. I know what's been happening is real, and I feel utterly powerless to stop it. Started a week ago. I trudged like a zombie to my kitchen to start my day with a fresh cup of joe. As I yawned, taking my first sip, I noticed something in the living room. I jumped and cursed as I spilled hot coffee down my front. Threw my mug into the sink in frustration, ignoring the resounding crash as I bent low in self-defense, fist raised feebly. That was when I realized that there wasn't a person in my house. It was a Christmas tree. Or something that was supposed to look like a Christmas tree. The tree was half dead, the smell of rotting pines assaulting my nostrils. I nearly gagged, wondering what I hadn't noticed before. I could see termites scurrying all over the damn thing. Oh, God. What the fuck? Malcolm. It had to have been Malcolm, my landlord. No one else had a key to my apartment, and I wouldn't put it past him to play a prank on me like this. Still, this was not funny. I planned to call him and give him a piece of my mind. First, so I had to get rid of this tree. Spent nearly half an hour hauling the big-ass thing out of my apartment and down to the side of the road. Cursing and covered in termites, I called Malcolm and left him a wordy voicemail. Then I went to work and forgot about the little prank. Till the next day. The tree was back in my apartment, but now it had been adorned in rusty, busted-out Christmas lights. The odor was not nearly as sour as my attitude as I called Malcolm again. I demanded he come to my apartment. When he got there, he acted as though he had no clue how the tree had gotten into my home. He asked if I had any friends or family that had come into town. Upset that he was playing dumb, I threatened to talk to his superiors if this were to happen again. Malcolm once again assured me that this was not his doing, but he would change my locks and help me get the damn tree out of my dwelling. I could smell the tree as soon as I woke the next morning. Furious, I threw my bedroom door open and stormed into the living room. The tree was back. Busted lights, pentagram-shaped star and all. And now there was something under the tree as well. A box wrapped in blue wrapping paper. I had had enough. I called the cops. The cops took the gift, considering it was a suspicious package, and left an officer to watch over my apartment for the night. I got a call from work later that day from one of the officers down at the station. The gift box had contained a human figure. They were going to need me for questioning. This had gone from annoying to immediately concerning rather quickly. After spending hours at the police station, the officers advised me to find a hotel to stay in. I did. Guess what I woke to see the next day? The same damn Christmas tree. There was another box underneath, this one decked in purple wrapping. I thought that I was losing my mind. In an anxiety-induced craze, I ripped open the gift rather than calling the cops again. There was a whole hand this time, though it was missing the ring finger. I didn't call the cops. I set the tree and the box ablaze after hauling them out to a secluded area. I sped back home and began grabbing my most important possessions. I told Malcolm I was breaking my lease and there was nothing he could do to stop me. Then I set off on the road, driving for hours and hours before finally pulling over to at least get a nap. When I awoke, I found a new gift box beside me. Though I didn't want to open it, I could hear a woman's voice in my ear, urging me to do so. I tore the box open and nearly vomited. A whole arm had been crammed inside. I've been getting a new body part every day. I am confessing to you, I recognize them very well. I don't know if the police are after me, but I'd rather be caught by them if we're being honest. I don't think it's going to save me. I murdered my wife last Christmas, but I suppose she wants some company this year. That was a fun one. Yeah, like Dilbert said, it's his wife! Yeah, that was a fun one. let's go ahead and take a look at some of these donations that have popped in before we move on to the next one. Alright, starting with Gray the Odd, who said, "Shout out to the series, there is no anti-memetics division on the wiki. Hope you can check out the anti-memetics division and read it with us sometime." Maybe so. Joey245 saying, "Would you be willing to do a dramatic reading of the Final Fantasy house?" I know it's not an ARG or web original, but it would be great, I think. I don't know. Let me ask Fred what he thinks about that. Moonlight Angel said, "Just out of curiosity, have you played Danganronpa? If so, favorite character and why?" I have played Danganronpa. Only V3, though. It's hard to have a favorite character from that, because most of them were horrible. Like, as people, you know? Not as characters. Yeah, you know, I can't say that I do, except for the main character that you play as. Amanda Coker, thank you for your donation, as well as you, Quistopolis. Tom Ferreira said, "Can you do your best impression of Rick from The Walking Dead saying Carl and then do a Negan impression?" You know, I don't know enough about The Walking Dead to be able to do that. And yeah, no, the same goes for Negan. So, I'm sorry about that one. I failed you on that front. Apologies. Amanda said, "Good Yule and bright solstice to you and yours. We just wanted to thank you for all you do. We always look forward to your content. Wishing you the best in the new year. Love, Amanda and John." Thanks to both of you guys. Night Zuck said, "Sorry for spamming, but have a great rest of the year, Nick. Keep making amazing content. Hopefully my art and etch will be enough love to show to you. You've done a lot already. Thank you." They need to make this screen longer. Anyone who says Pringles are bad might be aliens. One moment, guys. Oh, hey, sorry about that, guys. I've just been talking for so long, it's like all of a sudden it just caught up to me in the moment of actually, like, taking a break to take a look at the super chats. And it's just like, oh boy, I need more water. Then you reach for the water and you realize, hey, the water's out. So, had to take a moment. Okay. 20 Angry Ducks said had to be an advocate for her friend. Jaslyn painted a cute pic for the stream. Jaslyn Miller. Okay, yeah, I was looking through the notifications and I couldn't find anything by Jaslyn, so I assumed that she had a different name on there. Let me take a quick look. Why didn't that show up? Oh, because it was yesterday. Okay, so I wasn't seeing any of the notifications because I would have had to scroll down pretty deep. Got it, but yep, here it is. Oh, this is beautiful, Jaslyn. Wow. Oh, wow, you really... Oh, you put a stocking for me and Binks and my significant other. Oh my god. I do like this painting. Thank you, Jaslyn. I love and appreciate this, and I love and appreciate you too. Oh my god, this is so sweet of you. Thank you so much, Jaslyn. Hold on just a second. Let me go ahead and grab this for the chat. That's beautiful. Thank you. Sorry I didn't catch that earlier. Adam said, come to karaoke with me sometime, please. Okay, thanks, bye. Karaoke's not exactly my scene. But, you know. Tom Ferreira said about a week ago. Okay. Cleo, the medical dragon, my friend. Hi, bud, you're doing great. Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Oh, Jemshit said, are we coniferous yet? JSC Hong is asking, heard of Solomon Kane by Robert E. Howard, or Howard's Story of the Mound, where a cowboy fights a vampire? Have a big, long, happy, gay Christmas, Nick. You too. And no, I haven't heard about either of those. I'll have to look that up. Thank you, said 20 Angry Ducks. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Grim Reaper Hound 13. Happy holidays, Cat Daddy. So we know how you feel about the Foundation, but how do you feel about hunters like the Winchesters? You know, everybody quotes Supernatural to me, but I actually have never really watched it. I've seen a few episodes, just, you know, along the side while I've been at somebody's place, but I never have actually watched it. Okay, so let's see here. What do we have left? Alright. Oh my god, we've been going since about 7 o'clock. How long has the stream been? Yep, just past the 3-hour mark. We can do one more story, and I'll make it a NoSleep. All right. I'm gonna will the options down to the final 3 that I've got bookmarked here. So, your options are between 1 and 3, and the code word that you're gonna have to put before your number for your selection is jolly. Go. Jolly one! Jolly one got it. Okay. So, we're going to end our night with Christmas Land, apparently. Whew, it's a bit of a long one. Now, also, I have not read these stories. I've read enough to see and taken a look at some of the links to see if it's anything that I could put together, you know, and bring up here. I don't know what's in this, but there is an NSFW tag. So, I don't know what lays ahead. We might have to pump on the brakes at some point, depending, because remember, this is a YouTube live stream. But this was voted May 2016 scariest story. Christmas Land. Okay. Whew. Alright, just a moment to catch breath and all the rest of it, and then we'll dive right in. 2 minutes, everybody. Okay, everybody. Are you ready to go to Christmas Land? The scariest story of May 2016. Let's hit it. Christmas has always been a hard time for me. I've never felt the warmth of family coming together or the anticipation of opening gifts. I've never gone to midnight mass or experienced the thrill of sitting on Santa's lap and telling him what I want. I've never helped my mother make gingerbread cookies or gone caroling. But Christmas isn't hard because my life has lacked those holiday essentials. No, instead it's because of the memories that surround that annual celebration. Alright guys, so I'm having a mix of issues on this end all at once. Between... I think my throat's going out. Yeah, I'm... Oh my god, it's been a bit of a long day even before I jumped in here, but it has been 3 hours of non-stop going at this. And I've also got some weird computer hiccups happening here, so we're gonna call it a night. Just want to thank you guys for your last minute donations. Grim Reaper Hound, Tom, and Talik. And no, don't press F. There's no dad. There's no dad. There's just resting. But I am so excited to see how much we've raised for Apraxia kids. I really, genuinely am. This has been incredible, and you guys have been here, not just present for the stream, but have been here for its cause, for Apraxia kids, and I am absolutely delighted and so excited to see what we've got. As soon as this is processed enough to actually go up, I'll be able to check on the number and then share that in a comment as well as on social media. And again, we'll be able to see the final processing in January, because sometimes with Super Chats, cards get declined and stuff. Or people, you know, pull them back. Go to Twitter once more, people said. I will. Hold on. One moment. This is nice. This from Zarkat. Cookie Cat. The Partridge Pear Tree. And we've got a finished version of the piece from Taboo Wise Guy. Very nice. Hold on. And again, Wolf Expert. The fastest. Iron Artist. And another cute piece from Zeke the Protogen. Oh, as well as Nika. Hold on. Okay. So yes, thank you all guys for the last minute donations. I cannot wait to see the number. I'll share it out with all of you. Both when I've got the first hand processing and also in January after YouTube goes through it, and we'll see what the final number is. Then I'll be able to share with you all when I get to submit it sometime after the 20th or 21st in January. And I'll go ahead and show you all that as well. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. This has been so much fun, and exactly the note that I wanted to end on. This December, I know it's been kind of weird between the SCP video and this, but I wanted to end things on a fun note for Christmas. A real strong, positive, fun community note. I have plans for 2019, very big plans. I've got things that I want to do that no one's going to see coming, and things that have also been a long time in coming. and in ways that are going to be, I would say, in a new style, but instead I'll say this, which is much more appropriate. Everything old is new again. In terms of any style to expect. And I am extremely excited. There's a strong future for us here with things that we haven't done before. And I can thank you immensely for giving me the freedom to go after them. And they're going to be big, they're going to be wild. I can honestly see entire stretches of times where I just unload videos that are like 45 minutes to an hour consistently. And I'm going to be using my camera a lot. I'm going to be using all sorts of programs and things a lot. And it's going to be tonally quite stronger than some of the things that have gone on this year. And I can't wait. And I thank you all, and I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me for this last bit of fun this year, and just making this a good December, and making it a fun December, and helping me with the first charity live stream on the channel. I've been wanting to do something like this for so long, and I just couldn't think of a good way to do it. I kept fumbling it back and forth in my own mind, and then I'm like, you know what? This'll work. This will be great. I'm all for this. So guys, thank you. Thank you so much. And, just keep your eye out for the numbers and the reports as they're coming through. I'll be making sure to hand them over to you as soon as I get them. This has been wonderful. Thank you for everything this year. Thank you for being here. And thank you for all the love and positivity. All the goodness in all of you guys. I love you, and I thank you for it. You have a good night, everybody. Merry Christmas, and happy holidays, and a very happy New Year. Sleep tight.